What's up, everybody? Welcome to Lost in the Woods. I'm with my homeboy, PH, Floppy D.
Oh, we don't need to say that.
Mr. PH, Floppy D, a.k.a. Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I didn't think the people needed to know about that. That's a throwback, right?
It's a throwback. That's when Eric started to know you. Unfortunately, Eric isn't with us today.
Fuck you, Eric. No,
But for real.
No, but for real.
Straight face.
I hope you have a good time. What is he doing?
Smoking some ribs.
Oh, God. He's smoking some ribs, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
I guess that's more important than the podcast, but it's alright.
I guess, man.
We all gotta learn some shit.
I guess, man. This is gonna be a legendary one.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good one.
So, Jeff.
What's up, man?
The first thing that I want to talk to you about is how we started our friendship.
Okay.
Back in the throwback days of Culver's.
Oh, God. Okay.
Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, dude. Did we have a class together? I think we had.
Not at first, we didn't.
We didn't, but we knew of each other. I think.
Your
just
girlfriend.
From work.
Your girlfriend at the time had a class. I think it was home ed, right across from.
Oh,
US
didn't you have
history.
that weird ass guy?
Yeah, I forget
what was
his name. Mr.
He was like, was it the tall guy?
Yeah, it was the.
He always dressed in like a suit.
Yeah, he always dressed in a suit, and he had eye cancer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's why he was always rubbing his eyes and shit. It's because like he had some cancer in his eyes.
I just remember he was really strict. I never had him.
Yeah, he was super strict. It was weird.
Damn. Yeah, because then she would she had that it was child development is what she had, and then we would just sit out front and talk. And then I remember you worked at Culver's, I worked at Culver's, and then we just say what's up.
Yeah.
Just whenever you would walk into the class, and then. I mean, I guess from there it was more of like we just started talking at work, like just chilling. Like,
yeah. I forget how, because like I'm like I know like my dad had said something like he asked you or something that he was like, can you take Aaron?
I don't know how that came about though.
I don't either.
It was something like that.
I don't know, like why. In my head, I'm like, why did he ever like?
Yeah, because
say that
he needed you. He needed me to take you home from school. It was like 1 or 2 days. Because, like, remember we worked at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was something, I don't know how your dad got involved, but he asked, because then he was like, I'll pay you. And I was like, I mean, I would have done it regardless. Like, it was just, I was going to take you home, and then I think sometimes I'd take you to work from your house because you would change. And then we would just carpool. I think we did that a couple times. Because remember we went to Best Buy that one time?
Yeah.
We went to Best Buy and we looked at the like graphics cards and the
graphics cards,
the computers and shit.
Yeah.
And then yeah, dude, from there I think we were just chilling after that, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
we became pretty good friends after that. You showed me Logic.
Oh God.
Like now I'm obsessed with. And Skizzy Mars.
Yeah.
Shout out Skizzy Mars. Yeah. Hoodie Allen coming out with some new shit.
That's gonna be fire.
Bro, did you hear the snippet?
I did. Yeah. Cause it's just like
it's gonna be.
He
fire.
just has that sound, man. But he doesn't. Okay, you know, like whenever cause you're a producer, so like you find like sound packs and stuff, and like all the popular sounds like that one, like these couple of snares that are in a lot of songs, or like these claps that are in a lot of songs. I felt like Logic. I mean, I'm gonna relate this back to Hoodie, but I feel like Logic on this last project he did, The Confessions. I felt like he used a lot of like super popular like trappy noises, like a lot of like the same claps and like snares. It makes the track sound like similar to like these other popular artists, because like all the producers are using these high quality sounds. But Hoodie's always been, he makes great fucking sounds, but he makes everything like it's himself. Like he always does the shit his way, and like, not saying that Logic doesn't, or like Skizzy or anybody doesn't do that, but even Skizzy, like on that new song, No Advice, you can tell like a lot of like the claps and the snares are very like mainstream. So it gives me like, I don't know, like, cause all these artists are like underground to me, except for Logic. Now he's kind of blown up.
He's blown up.
Yeah, he's blown up big
after
time.
Everybody.
Pretty much, cause that he made
1-800 song.
That controversial ass album, Everybody, and it just addressed all those issues. It just got him like talked about.
Now on that controversial album, what was your favorite song?
On Everybody?
On Everybody, because I mean, there's a lot of good songs, but since that was the most controversial, it's like some of them were like really good, but they were like really controversial songs, like America.
Yeah, because he was like calling out Trump, and he was sending shots to Kanye, but he was like, it's all love.
Yeah.
In the end, or
except
whatever.
the Trump, he wasn't really saying it was all
okay.
about
Yeah,
him.
not the Trump. Yeah. Well, I gotta look, man, because this was a good album. We didn't like it that much at first, but then it just grew.
I feel like every time we listen to an album, except his most recent one, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, like we haven't really fucked with the first listen, but I feel like we're just too harsh on the first
because
listen.
Our expectations are just way too high.
Yeah, and it's so different. Like you can't really define it.
Right, like the Under Pressure like precedent that he set with that album, you couldn't go into The Incredible True Story and expect that same. I mean, they're all like almost equally good, just in their own ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even remember like what the hell we were trying to talk about, but
the favorite song on Everybody.
Oh yeah, dude. Honestly, I'm looking at the songs.
I mean, Most Definitely was a great one. Killing Spree was a great one.
Yeah, I mean, all right. If we're talking like my personal favorite song, I'd say probably Black Spider-Man.
That was a dope one.
Yeah, I like Black Spider-Man.
I feel like he always releases like one of the first 3 singles. Like those are like the best ones.
Best songs.
Yeah.
What did he release for Confessions? He did Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Keanu Reeves, and then he had Homicide, right?
Homicide, yeah.
Yeah. And did you know that he was gonna release Icy too? Like they had like that single album. Did I show you? Did I send you that? The artwork.
I think so.
I think I was trying to find it for you, but I couldn't. It got leaked on Reddit. I know you don't look at Reddit, but
no.
Someone leaked it on Reddit, and they were like, "This art's way too good for this not to be legit." Anyways, it was like a mask, and it was like blue. It was icy, and it had like icicles on it and shit. And it said on the side like "Icy" featuring Gucci Mane, Logic. And then they actually used the artwork. If you go on the iTunes store and you look at, they have the Icy ringtone that you can buy for your phone. Like someone calls you, it's like, I'm icy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah.
You just get I'm icy.
You're like, what the fuck? The little picture on there is the single artwork that they never released because it never came out as a single. But they were like, fuck, this artwork is good. We have to put it somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
So I saw that the other day.
I saw one of the, I guess it was fake, but there was like a cover art for like his next album that had like gotten quote unquote leaked or something.
I saw that. It was like outer space almost type.
Yeah.
You sent that to me. Yeah, I think that was just a fan art.
But still, like that was a great concept art.
Yeah, I know.
Just by itself, even though if it was fake.
It was like Logic quality, because Sam Spratt, which is Logic's
artist designer.
I mean, I guess artist.
Cover
Well,
designer,
not like singing or rap artist, because Logic's got his own like label now.
Yeah.
But more
Bobby Boy
Records.
Haha, shit.
Yeah. But it's more like his painter, like all of Logic's artwork except for his first one, because that was painted by Big Limbo.
Oh yeah.
Under Pressure
Oh
was
my
painted by Big
gosh.
Limbo.
Throwback.
I know. But I think like Incredible True Story, everybody's never I found out about Sam Spratt, because remember they released that documentary about Logic,
Yeah.
and we watched it, and then I was like, who the fuck is Sam Spratt? And dude, like, I think his art's fucking great. Like, it's so like realistic, but at the same time like cartoonish.
Yeah.
It's like a great.
It's got like a certain type of vibe to it. It's kind of like how Logic is. Like he's just so unique.
Yeah. Like,
but in an artist standpoint.
Yeah. I wouldn't like how Logic, like Six making his beats, Logic the way he raps, Sam Spratt with his art, his team, like Bo the bodyguard, and like
Bo.
Like I wouldn't change that. Like I just think he's got just like a dope team.
You know, Bo isn't really on social media.
But he's making songs?
I did not know that.
He's making songs and shit. Apparently.
Huh. Like
yeah.
with
if
Logic?
you didn't know that. No, like on his own. I think it's one of those.
Rap?
I haven't listened to it. But if you go on his Instagram,
We gotta listen to it.
you'd see it. But anyways.
Doesn't he have like 6 pictures on his Instagram? Like it's like super low, because like I looked at it the other day.
Bo?
Yeah. Because I swore.
I don't know.
Maybe he has like a personal one, and then he has Bo the bodyguard. That Instagram profile.
Maybe.
Because on like the one for like Bo the bodyguard, he had like 6 pictures or like 5 pictures. It was
Like not a lot.
yeah, it wasn't a lot, and I was like, he's not really on social media. I'm sure he does have like his own like personal one though, because he's the bodyguard of somebody who's in the spotlight
definitely
mainstream.
in the spotlight right now.
Yeah, and he's been in the spotlight for a long time. I feel like since everybody.
He's just
really.
now getting recognition.
Yeah,
like people are giving him.
How many projects has he dropped since everybody? You got Young Sinatra 4,
Bobby Tarantino 2,
and then Kodum.
I think there was Supermarket. Yeah, so
Supermarket was so different.
Yeah, well that was a great. All right, I'm not gonna bang that album like every day of my life, but there's a couple songs on there that I really.
Pretty Young Girl.
Yeah.
Did you see that Snapchat that I sent you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna.
Did you save that?
I did.
Nice.
Because we're gonna look back at that in like 2-3 years and we're like, damn,
those are the days. But now like we're sitting back like right now like damn, 2 or 3 years ago, those are the days.
They were the days.
Every time, man.
Why do you think that is?
Just because it's like
we grow as a person.
I guess. I think it's more just like you don't like appreciate it until it's gone. You know what I mean?
Oh, that reminds me of a quote from my dad that I haven't heard anybody else say, and he said that he didn't get it from anybody.
I think you told me what he said. What did he say again?
You don't understand the magnitude of the moment until it's a memory.
Yeah, that's like really well said.
I was like, damn, I gotta write that down.
Yeah. And
now it's been stuck in my head ever since that. Like I don't even have to see the quote that I wrote it down, like the paper that I wrote it down on. I just know it. It's such like a good quote. Especially like when you're young and like what we're talking about, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we didn't understand what we were going through at the time, but now it's like those are the days.
Because we were like we were 19. I was 19. You were 18. Because you're like a couple months behind.
Yeah,
you're
a couple months behind.
Like 8 or 9 months. But yeah, man. Because it's just like you look back on it and you're like, damn, that I had a lot of fun. But in the moment, you're having fun. But whenever you, I guess you like mature as a person, like you said, and then you look back on it. It's like you have a different appreciation for it. So it seems like I had so much fun back then, like doing like, I don't know, like stupid shit. Like, I mean,
what kind of stuff?
We don't gotta go into detail about that, but we can. But
nah. I mean, the type of stuff that I want to go into is like the Waffle House.
Oh shit,
bro! The Waffle House is like, I feel like everybody who's 18 to 19, Waffle House is like a legendary place for them.
Yeah, because most of the time you go there and you're really fucked up with your friends and everyone knows it, but no one like calls the cops on you.
Yeah, nobody cares because you're gonna give them a fat ass tip.
Oh yeah, always.
And especially if you're like 4 people, like everybody's giving a tip at that.
Yeah, like $3, $4, $5. I mean, that's like $20
per person.
It's easy. Like especially like our friend group.
Yeah.
Because like we order, we know what we want.
Yeah, we don't even have to look at the menu.
And then they give us our shit, and then we just shut the fuck up. Eat and then get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Bro. So everybody, we chilled yesterday, me and Jeff, and we went to B-Dubs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know if you realized, but there was like a family that kind of sat next to us like halfway through our meal.
Yeah.
And I like reached to your left, my right.
Yeah, you're right.
And I like we had said something about my pocket.
What?
I was like someone just I felt like touched my pocket. You remember that? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was because there's nothing in my pocket.
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing in my pocket except my dick. And there was these. I didn't look over. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because you said that shit and I looked over. For like a second, I glanced over and I don't remember what they were looking like, but I'm sure they heard it. I mean, like,
I was loud as fuck. I don't care. Like in those types of situations, like I understand. Like you want to like
you're in a public space,
but I don't give a fuck.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying like they should understand. Like if they bring their kids into that environment, you are subjecting them to that type of language.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I am going to admit that in some certain situations, I'm a douchebag. Like, on the road, I drive super safe. Damn, that was a long-ass burp.
I heard that, yeah.
But I drive super safe, and, like, I'm a defensive driver. But, like, I bang my radio, dude.
You do. You're a savage with that shit.
I'll be rolling down with the windows down. I did it today.
Bang that shit. I know.
Bro, I listened to Like Whoa. And there's this lady that was sitting next to me, bro.
She was probably getting pissed.
Yeah. I didn't look over. I was like,
just rapping it, man.
Bro, I was getting with the hand motions too.
Yeah.
I was.
You really don't give a fuck whenever it comes to that shit. Like me, like I'll turn it down like to like a reasonable level. They could probably still hear it, but it's not just like ignorant, you know?
Bro, my bass is. I got 2 6s on the side of my doors.
That's why your shit bangs so hard. It's because you have subs in your doors. I wish I had subs in my doors.
Yeah. and I have a 2-door car. I have a Mustang, so 2007 Mustang. So it's like
that car bangs.
Small and compact. So I guess it I don't know what the right word is, but it makes it super loud.
Do you have a sub in the back of that?
No.
I didn't think so. You just have really good bass on the sides. That shit bumps.
I eventually, probably like, I'd say 6, 7, 8 months ago, I used to have my bass, because you know how you can turn your bass and treble all the way up?
Yeah.
I used to have that shit all the way up. I turned it down, and it still bangs. Like... I guess I had that shit up because like whenever I would do like my beats, I wanted to hear like what it would sound like with like the bass boosted and like treble and boosted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This shit bangs. I just don't give a fuck.
That's what I did too, and then it started wearing out my because I have a 10-inch in the back. I got a 10 whatever the fuck you call it. Sub.
10-inch sub.
It's a sub.
They call it 10-inch because of diameter.
Yeah, the diameter. Yeah, because you can get like 6, 8, 10, 12. I think you can get 14s too. 12s bang. I mean, 10 bangs.
6 bangs.
6 yeah, anything, if you don't... Okay.
Any sub bangs.
I don't know if like kickers, quote unquote, are different than subs. I think they might be the same thing. They provide bass. But, because I just have kickers like on mine. You know, I think you have actual like a 6-inch sub on each of your doors.
I think kickers, they just pick up like mid frequencies, so that way you get like the kick attack, because the kick attack is
I'm not very educated. I'm not very educated on that, so I think
it is a little bit different. I don't know though.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea. But anyway, like I was saying, I would turn my bass up, and then after a certain period of time, it rocked. It bumped so hard. Now it's like rumbled out of like place. So now it like rumbles in my car, you know? So I had to turn it. I was like, fuck, I have to turn this shit back down.
No more banging.
No more banging. It still bangs, like if I turn it up.
Yeah.
But, you know
see, me personally, I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of like a perspective thing. Because like every day I'm in my car and I hear what my speakers sound like. But like when I get in your car and we're like banging some music, I'm like, damn, these sound really good.
I think you have a good sound system. The problem is you don't have as many speakers as I do, because I have speakers that handle low, high, and mid, like all of them. You know what I mean? And it's also a Bose system. So
yeah, I don't know what mine are. I guess they're just stock.
I mean, mine was stock too, but I'm not sure what brand you have in your Mustang. I'm sure it's decent. I mean, it's a Mustang. Like, it still bangs.
Yeah, and it's pretty old.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where like I'm kind of unsure about it. Like, it's paid off. Like, I don't have to pay any like bills on it.
Bet.
Yeah, I love that fact.
Oh yeah.
I just have to pay insurance on it, but it's getting to the point where it's just like really old, and I take care of it pretty well, I would say. I mean, I don't take care of it like how some people would take care of their car, but like I take care of it.
Right.
And like the side panel on the doors on the interior, they're starting to come off. So it's kind of like you gotta re-glue it. Cause like on my passenger side, I don't know if you remember, but like
yes, I remember.
I guess it was like 2 years ago. Like it had completely fell off.
And then I remember your dad, like there was like a tool you used to like push it down in there.
And eventually we took it and got it glued back so that way it doesn't fall back down. And I'm gonna have to just start doing that, pushing it in to like the seams with I guess.
Well, it's a hassle, but you know.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I'd rather preserve it though, because the more you can preserve it,
the more money you're gonna get out of it. You know what I mean?
The one thing that I wish I would have done, and I guess it still doesn't matter, because you know like the little stickers on the rugs, like your original rugs, you have to like peel them off and then it's like your actual rug. I still left the stickers on them, so I mean I guess the rugs are still clean, but like the plastic and like the area around it is kind of like messy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna help bring value, but there could be like.
Dude, you just get a carpet cleaner and clean it, like, and it would look like brand new. That's what I had to do with my car. From delivering so much and getting out in the rain and the mud.
Yeah.
All the sides were like black, and I just took my, you know that little thing I have in my basement. It's a carpet cleaner, but it has like that little detachable head, dude. I just used that and it would look like brand new. Yeah. So if you're gonna go sell it,
yeah, I think in the coming years I'll probably trade it in and get a newer one. I really want
a Mustang.
Yeah, I really like Mustangs. Like they're super good. In the snow, they're not that great, but then again, like really, what is if you're driving a car and it's not a four-wheel.
It's not going to be the best.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
much, yeah.
Mustangs are rear wheeled, so it's like you don't get any traction in the front, so you just have to put it in like third gear and just fucking go at like 5.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, even at 5, man, in the snow, like with the ice, I mean, I was like fishtailing.
I know.
It's rough.
Yeah, my car kind of the same, but mine's all-wheel, so it's like 1585, like power distribution to the wheels in the all-wheel drive mode. But I wasn't fishtailing too bad until I don't know if you remember, but we got this horrible ice. Like it rained and then it got super cold.
When this year?
And then it was this year. And then it froze, and then there was a bunch of black ice, and then there was ice on top of that. I think because I was delivering pizzas, and dude, I swear, like I can't really like give you the exact visualization of how far I slid, but I was delivering pizza and I probably slid like 50 feet. Like this, I'm not sure how much 50 feet is like in relativity, but it was a fucking, I mean, I slid forever. Like I was like slide. But like
it gets to the point where like, oh shit.
Do you know where the Malone's is?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one of those side roads that connects to Pleasant Ridge. That name of that road that Malone's is on is called Pleasant Ridge. And there's a neighborhood off of there that's called Timber Creek. And I was coming off of Timber Creek, and there's a stop sign, and you go left or right to get onto Pleasant Ridge. I was trying to go back to the store. Well, knowing that there was ice, I obviously applied my brake way before.
Right.
I wasn't like going like 50 and then trying to slam on my brake. Yeah. No, so I mean I applied it like a good distance. Like I drive a lot.
Right.
Like I know.
Yeah, you know how to drive.
I know how to drive. Yeah. Well, dude, I literally slid. I slid so far. I went past the stop sign and then got up into the Malone's like, oh shit, like the parking lot. And like there was obviously oncoming traffic. I just somehow like squeezed my way in between two cars and didn't get hit. Like it was the luckiest thing because they were coming, but I was like just right through the both of them. I was
Which
like,
stop sign was it?
Oh, like, okay, if you know, like, if you're going, all right, you know where Malone's is at. It's on, if you're on Pleasant Ridge, if it's on your left-hand side.
Okay, yeah.
And you go past the gas station.
Okay.
And there's a hotel.
Right
there on the right. That next right-hand turn, there's a stop sign, and you can come out and take a left to go towards Malone's, or you can go right and go towards the Harley-Davidson dealership.
Okay, yes.
Yes, that was the road, and I slid straight through that stop sign into the big main road.
Dang.
I saw these cars, and they were honking at me. I'm like, dude, like, there's so much ice, like I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't like I slammed on my brakes and then they locked up and then I just slid. Like I was barely braking from far distances away. But then it just.
Were you in like first gear, third gear?
I was just in drive, like whatever the fuck probably first gear.
In those situations, like you just gotta go down to third.
I don't think my car can do that unless I like put it in the manual and then like shift it.
That's what you gotta do.
Damn. Okay.
Because that's what I do. Because like I have the drive.
So shift it up to third.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or whatever the lowest gear is, so I guess 1.
I mean, yeah, because 1 is, 1 and 2 and then 3 and then 4 or whatever the fuck. I don't know how to drive a stick in the first place.
I don't either. I want to learn eventually, like get a motorcycle.
That's a good skill.
Yeah.
It's
it's different for a motorcycle because you have like, it's super weird for motorcycles because you have like 2 up and 3 down. And you have your clutch on the side. So like you have like, if you want to go like, you're like, so like, I know 15 you want to go to second. 15 miles per hour you go into second gear, and I think it's like 30, and then it's like
every like 15 miles an hour.
I don't know if it's 15, but I think it's like 15 and 30 for the first 2.
That would make sense.
So the first you have the clutch on your left foot. So if you're thinking you're mounting the bike and it's on your left foot.
Yeah.
And so whenever you hit 15, you like there's like a little like I guess peg, and you go up on it. So you get your foot under it and you push up on it. And then for the second gear, you push up on it again, and then you put your foot over it, and then you go down after that.
Fuck that.
And then your clutch is also your left brake hand. I think it is. And then your front brake is your right hand, and then your back wheel is your right foot.
Yeah, my dad bought a motorcycle.
In Texas?
Yeah, because he moved down there, so he bought a motorcycle. He was trying to describe to me how to do it. You can take like a class, and obviously you have to get your like I think it's a motorcycle license
Yeah.
or whatever the hell. And he was trying to tell me how it works, but his is the same way. I think all of them are like that.
Yeah, my brother he got into an accident, so he doesn't ride one anymore. But he's gonna teach me how to do it. I mean, he didn't get hurt or anything. It wasn't even his fault. But again, on motorcycles, it doesn't have to be your fault. You can get seriously injured. So, I think whenever I get a motorcycle within the coming years, I mean, this will probably be after I trade my car in and like I'm financially stable. And
Right.
I definitely want to learn how to ride one because like that would be. I've always wanted one. I mean, you can
We've
remember.
always had that.
Yeah. I just really want one. Everybody's like, why do you want a motorcycle? It's so dangerous. Like, it doesn't even have to be your fault and you can be killed. Like, yeah, you could have a heart attack tomorrow and die.
And it's not really technically your fault.
Yeah.
It's not like you tried to have a
You
heart
get hit
attack.
by a bus tomorrow and in your car.
Yeah.
And you could still die. Like,
Speaking of my car,
oh God.
this fucking shit. Okay. So, it's like, you know, you're driving and you're just minding your own damn business. That's what kind of like the whole point here. Like, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
You know? So, basically, you know, I've been telling you, like, the gym that I work out at, new ownership. Gotten cool with the owner guy. We bullshit talk, whatever. And then he offered me the personal training position because
Right.
there's an overflow of customers right now, and he needs someone fast. And obviously, that's something that I always wanted to like. I wanted to take that avenue, that road at one point because I love like fitness a lot, and no, it's just one of those things like you won't know until you try. So I think it would have been a good idea for me to try to pursue that. You know, like go get my certification because in order to become a personal trainer, you have to get certified, and that takes a little bit of time, costs some money. But then once you have the job and you're in the door, like you have the experience, and then you can go a lot of different other places. So basically, the moral of the story is I wanted to give it a try to see if I liked it, and I could take it further if I wanted to. Anyways, that's the reason I had to go out today. Otherwise, I would have never been in this spot in the first place.
Right.
So every time I go and work out, he always like pesters me about it. Like not in an awful way or like an annoying way. He's just like, hey man, like, where you at? Are you getting your certification? Like, have you talked to anyone? Like, what are you doing? Where you at?
Yeah.
And he came up to me the last time and he was like, listen, he's like, this is serious. Like, if you want this position, like, I'm willing to give you a chance, but you need to get on it. And I was like, all right, yes, sir. Like, I'll go. And so the next week, which was this week, because I went last week.
Right.
This week comes. Today is my off day. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go down to the Johnson Center because he went to EKU, Eastern Kentucky University.
Right.
They have their equivalent of the Johnson Center, which is basically just a gym, like the college gym that everyone that goes to that college can attend, can go to, work out, get exercise. Basically, he went there and went to the office and was like, I was looking for my certification for personal training. Do you guys have a class that I can take to get it? Long story short, took him like 3 days, like 10-hour days in a classroom, and then you have to pay to take the test. If you pass the test with like a 70% or something, you become a personal trainer, you're certified. So he was like, go to the Johnson Center and ask them. So that's why I went out there. I went out to the Johnson Center over on campus.
See what you needed to basically get your PT license.
Yeah, over at the University of Kentucky. So I went over and talked with there's like a couple girls, guys at the front desk, like college kids. And I was like, do you guys know like who can I go to get information? They were like, all right, go to the front office. So I walked my ass to the front office, and it's another fucking girl. She has no idea what she's talking about. So basically, I had to keep prying for information. Long story short, the only way that they're gonna give me my personal training certificate is if I apply to work for them. And if I apply to work for them, then they will put me in a program to get my personal training certificate. So I was sitting there, I was like, that just doesn't seem like, it seems very one-sided. Like, I have to work for you in order for you to give me my personal training. Like, I thought you guys were the avenue that I could take to get my personal training license to go elsewhere with. It's a school, it's a college.
Yeah.
Right? So I was confused, and
That's
she gave me this business card to call this guy that's the head of it. And anyways, so it took me, more time. So like everything played into a part here, right?
Right.
Because if I wasn't in this exact spot in the exact time, this would have not happened to me.
Right.
So basically, this bitch didn't know what she was talking about, so I had to go to this other, she was like an elderly woman, and she gave me information. I was like, thank God, finally someone that knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, we don't even if you were to offer a class and you talk to this guy and we offered you a class, it wouldn't happen until the spring or the fall. Like, it's summer right now, so there's no classes in session. And I was like, all right, well, fair enough, I appreciate it, whatever. So I get out of there, and I don't know if you're familiar with how downtown works. I know you Ubered down there a few times, but I know if you know where BCTC's at, like that Alumni.
Yeah.
Like right off of Alumni. I think Shinaway turns, I don't know what the road's called, to be honest with you, but I know, if you're on Shinaway, then you can turn on to Cooper.
Yeah.
It's Cooper Drive,
Yeah.
I think is what it is. So I was on Cooper, right? And then you go through all the residential neighborhoods, and then you come to Tate's Creek, and then you go across Tate's Creek, and then you're in the Romney area, and then you're coming to Alumni.
Okay.
Right, or to Shinaway, because Shinaway connects up to Richmond Road.
Right.
So basically, I'm at this intersection, and I was behind this slow guy, and he was in this big truck, but it was for like wheels or something. Like they pick up like handicapped people, I guess is what it's for.
Like those buses?
Yeah, they're like miniature buses. Well, he pulls off to the side, so there's a stop sign, and so I go around him real quick, and I stop at the stop sign, obviously, and then I go through, because it's all stop signs through the neighborhoods. The whole time there's this guy riding my ass in this huge truck, because he's pissed off because the guy in front of me is going, also trying to find who needs to pick up. Right, so the guy in front of me pulls off to the side because he found his destination. I go around him, and this guy is all mad behind me, trying to get to wherever he needs to go.
Yeah.
So I get to the stop sign. He gets right up on my butt, and then I jet it from the stop sign, trying to make the light because I see the light's green.
Yeah.
Well, by the time I'm like 3/4 halfway there, light turns red, and so I have to stop. And there's about 3 cars ahead of me, and I stop, and I mean, I'm in a pretty good distance. Like, I'm from here to like the bathroom, like from the car, like a pretty good stopping distance.
Probably like
6 feet. 6 feet, yeah. Good distance, 6 to 10 feet. So I stop, and then the guy behind me is like, I wasn't paying attention because I was listening to music, and I was just like laying my head back, like just relaxing. And I look in my rear view, and the guy I see, he's like creeping up on me. Like the guy, this truck's huge, like it's lifted, like it's big.
Damn.
This big ass Dodge diesel, whatever the hell. So he gets up behind me, and he gets really close to my ass, and then I don't remember if he stopped or not, but all of a sudden he just rams the back of my car, just like, I mean, with force. Nails my car.
Sounds like he did it on purpose.
Bro, like he rammed the shit out of my car.
I bet his truck wasn't even like
no,
hard.
not a scratch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, his truck was so tall that instead of pushing me forward, he pushed me down. Cause my car was so crushed, he got over the top of my car.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call redneck in Kentucky.
Yes, this is some redneck shit. Anyways, I'm pinned. I was surprised that I didn't get hit into the guy in front of me, because then that would have been my fault. Because I would have hit that guy in his butt, and that would have been my fault, right? Well, long story short, we're on a single lane road, right? I mean, this is like Cooper, right?
Yeah.
This is you're one way this way, one way this way. There's not 2 lanes. It's just enough for like 1 car to go.
Yeah.
Right?
2 lanes, 1 direction each.
Yes. And so I put my hazards on, and I'm just sitting there. I wasn't mad. Like, I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Because, like, I remember looking up in my rear view, and he was just chilling. And then the next thing I know, he's in my fucking ass. You know what I mean? Like, my rear end of my car.
Dude.
And I get out, he jumps out, he goes, what the hell? And I was like,
what?
I was like, what happened, man? And he's like, I don't know, man. Someone hit me. He's like, it was that motherfucker. And he was like, let's go get him. We gotta go get him. Let's go. Let's get back in your car. We gotta go chase that guy down. And I was like, no. I was like, no, we're not going after anyone. I was like, you give me your information. We're not going anywhere. I was like, I need your name. I need your phone number. And he's like, all right, hurry up. So I go get because I'm a delivery driver, I keep the pen and the pad in there.
Yeah.
So I go and
I'm prepared, bitch.
Yeah, I have my shit. And so he wrote his number down, he wrote his name down, and then I gave him mine, and he's like, man, we should have fucking went and got that guy. He's like, he hit me, and then that caused me to hit you. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, I don't think that's what happened, but that was his story that he stuck with the whole time.
I mean, it doesn't fucking matter.
Like, he's still rear-ended me. It's still his fault.
Yeah, regardless.
Right.
And in your perspective, it's like, that's all that matters. I don't give a fuck if anybody hit you.
Right, like dude, like the back of my trunk is like it's caved in, like it's total.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
dude.
Yeah.
The infinity.
I know. And I was like, man, that's a nice truck. And he was like, well, that was a nice car. And I was like, yeah, dude, you fucking, maybe it wasn't his fault, but I have a feeling what happened was the light turned green, and he thought that I went. Like, he thought as soon as the light turned green, I was going to click on my gas, but I didn't. And then he hit his gas, and then he rammed me. Because he said that there was a car behind him that, like, did a U-turn real quick, and then there was another car that went around us or some shit.
Did you see a car go around you?
Well, dude, everything happened so fast, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
in those
don't know if it
situations
happened.
you don't know.
Yeah, because I wasn't, like, the cop was, whenever the cop showed up, he was asking me, like, did you see anything? Like, what happened? I was like, to be honest with you, I don't. I was concerned. Whenever I looked in my rearview mirror, all I saw was his big ass truck in the whole back of my window. I couldn't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was huge. It's a huge truck.
Dude.
And so anyways, basically I called 911, and the lady picks up and she's just a bitch. Like,
responder? Yeah,
the responder's just a bitch to me. And then she was like, are you blocking traffic? And I was like, no, people are going around us. Like, we're not blocking traffic. She's like, no, so that means you're blocking traffic. You need to get out of the way. And I was like, all right, you know. And then this guy's yelling at me. And then I got cars honking and shit. And then I'm on the phone trying to talk to the 911 operator. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is some bullshit. Like, I didn't do nothing. And
all of a sudden, it's all your fault.
Yeah, and it's like everyone's like mad at me. Like, he's mad at me. Everyone else is mad at me. And I'm like, dude, I'm the one whose car got fucked. Like,
yeah.
If anything, I'm the one that deserves to be mad.
Yeah, but
I wasn't even. Yeah. I wasn't even heated. Like, I was calm.
It's always like that. I feel like in certain situations, like for, well, I guess like a fight really wouldn't be like that, but like you don't
definitely wasn't. Yeah,
it's like it doesn't even have to be your fault, and like you're the victim, and like everybody's mad at you.
Everyone's trying to play the victim.
Yeah,
like you're inconveniencing me. You're in my way. Get out of my way. Like, dog, I just got rear-ended. I'm sorry. You know, like everyone honking at me, or the guy behind me, like, hurry up on the phone. Like, I have to go get my kids. Like, this is bullshit. We should have went and got that guy. And I was like, well, first of all,
and then what? You would have. All right, so if you went to go get quote unquote that guy, then you would have had that time to go get that guy, try to get him to pull over, and then if he did pull over, then call the cops, and then go through the whole situation again.
If we even could get him to pull over in the first place.
Right, which takes even longer than what it would have been.
Even if that was the case, because I think the guy was trying to save his own ass by saying someone else hit him, and that it was a hit and run, whenever really he just rammed the shit out of me.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing, to be honest.
Yeah, because he was bitching me out the whole time. And I was like, dawg, I was standing up for myself. I didn't give a shit. I was like, I did the right thing. I was like, we called the cops. I'm filing a police report. Like, this was not my fault. Like, my insurance needs this. I was like, give me your name, give me your number. We're not going anywhere. Anyways, where I was on the phone with the 911 operator, and she was like, where are you at? And I was like, all right, I'm at the corner of Cooper and Shinaway. Okay. And she's like, so in Andover. And I'm like, no.
What?
No, we're on the opposite side of town as Andover.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And she's like, she's like, Andover, right? And I was like, no, like the corner of Cooper and Shinaway.
Downtown.
Like getting downtown towards campus.
Yeah.
And I think what she was trying to say was there is a street behind us called Andover Street or something like that, maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
But she's like, you need to get the fuck out of the way of traffic. So I pulled through the green light. Like, we went straight through the green light and pulled off into this subdivision to where people could get around us.
Right.
Well, he's like, I'm gonna go fucking look for that guy and I'll be right back.
No.
Well, I already had his name and his number, and I was like, well, I can't stop you. And if the cops show up, I was like, I'm gonna say that you did a hit and run. And he's like, no, I'll be back. So anyways, he goes and he does his own thing, and I'm just sitting there. I'm calling my dad, calling my mom, like, all right, you guys pay for my insurance right now. Like, what do I need to get for you all? Or my dad does it. But I called my dad. He didn't pick up. He was at work, so I had to call my mom and get her opinion. So anyways, guy finally pulls back up and he's like on the phone with his insurance company and talking about that shit. And then, you know, long story short, cop didn't know where the fuck we were at because the dispatch lady did a shitty job of telling him where we were gonna be at. And she's like, get off the road. And I'm like, all right, well, I had to pull through the green light to get off the road. I wasn't gonna reverse in the fucking oncoming traffic to get into a side street behind me.
Right.
You know, so I went forward through the green light. And anyways, he eventually found us. And it took forever because I was gonna hit the Johnson Center and then I was gonna go to the gym. And so that put me way behind. And then it took like an hour and a half, you know, like a long ass time to get
what
this
time
shit.
did that happen?
I mean, it was around like 2:30 or 3.
Damn.
And I didn't get done
That
until
really
like,
wasn't even that long ago.
no, it was a couple hours ago. Yeah, and so this man wrecked the shit out of my car, and then he was trying to make small talk with me, and I was like, dude, just stop. Like, you know this is your fault. He was making up a story. He was like, I have to go get my kids. And the officer was asking us if we had any more questions. And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, I gotta go get my kids. So he jumped in the car and pulled off real quick. And I was like, no, wait, I have some questions. Because I didn't want that guy to be around it for him. And I was like, asking him, you know, what do I need to do? What about this? What about that? And he answered all my questions. And before he left the cop, he's like, did you see someone pull around you? Like, do you think someone really hit him? Because there was no damage to his truck at all.
Right.
And even for the back.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, there was no. And I was like, to be honest, I was like, I remember seeing cars passing us, but I do not remember seeing a car like
immediately
peeling off, like from a hit and run. And he's like, yeah, I didn't think so. And he was like,
was the guy sketchy?
Kind of a little bit. I mean, he drives a big ass Dodge, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just kind of sketch. Like, and he just kind of looks sketchy. But then I talked to my dad, and he was like, no, that guy was definitely just trying to save his own ass.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, even like, I feel like just from a third perspective, like that had to be like, because like if anybody hits somebody in the ass, like it's automatically your fault, regardless. In Kentucky,
of what happens. Yeah,
in Kentucky, that's the law. Like you get hit in the ass, it's your fault.
Yeah,
or
it's for the person who hits you in the ass. It's their fault.
Yeah.
Yes,
because you should always be paying attention.
Right.
And like that's just common sense. Always pay attention, and don't like if you're in a rush, like be in a rush, but like be aware.
Be safe.
Yeah, be aware.
Be like a defensive. You want another one?
Yeah, I'm gonna
like a defensive driver type shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now the back of my fucking car is fucked. And I called my dad, and obviously he wasn't mad at me. It wasn't my fault. I did the right thing. And this man was even telling the police officer. He was like, I was trying to tell this guy that we should have went after the guy that hit me. And I'm just like, you're telling a police officer that you wanted to perform a hit and run. Pretty much is what that is. And then the police officer was like, it's not uncommon. He's like, we're like one of the only practices or states or something. He's like, we have like two investigators that are always working on hit and runs because apparently there's so many hit and runs around here. Especially
downtown, I feel like it's a very common thing.
Well, if you think about it, like if you hit somebody and you run, like first of all, like they have to get the cops out there, which takes forever, and then the cops have to put the case in, and then the case has to get to the whatever the fuck they're called, investigators. And then by that, I mean, they have all these other cases. So by the time that your case actually gets to the investigator, I mean, it's been like weeks. You know what I mean? Like they might find you, but it's like 90% of the time they're not going to.
Unless they can find like a traffic camera, then like they're gonna get away completely because you most likely didn't take their license plate.
You
don't know their name. You may not know cars as well. So like it was a truck, it was gray, and that's it. You know how broad that is in a city?
That's what he said.
Yeah, so it's like if they get away and there's no traffic camera, they're gone. Like, and you're just stuck with fixing your car.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
There were traffic cams up in the thing, and the guy that hit me mentioned it to the cop. He's like, there's traffic cams up there. Like, we should be able to find them. The cop literally said, he was like, those don't even record. He was like, those are just like traffic cams for like traffic data and analysis. What? Yeah. What?
What?
Yeah.
Alright, guys. I want you all to understand this right now. My dad is a traffic engineer, has been the manager of the city that we live in for nearly, I guess, like 15 to 20 years. And so those cameras, they record 100%. And they are not used for traffic data because the company that we own right now we use our own cameras for traffic.
For traffic. That's what I was like, wait. I think he was just telling the guy like to fuck off, pretty much, the officer, like I'm not dealing with this.
So either way, that officer didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I mean, officers usually know like what's going on and like.
But that one didn't.
But he obviously was
he was
trying to get.
He was nice.
Either he was just trying to get the guy to get the fuck out of there so he could talk to you, or something. And
right, because all the officer has to work with is this guy got rear-ended. It's this guy's fault. That's all he has to be concerned about.
Got the information from both, and now if one of them doesn't have answers or questions, then he leaves, and if one does, then I stay and answer his questions.
Which is what happened. And the guy didn't even have like his insurance card on him. Like he was like, I have an active plan, I still have my card. And I'm just like, who does that?
So what's gonna happen though?
So basically, my father will call the company and tell them what happened, my insurance company, and basically I'll get a loaner car.
Hey.
I'm just gonna put a shit ton of miles on it, deliver pizza.
We won't tell them that though.
Yeah, we're not. All right, yeah. Sorry, State Farm. But
brand new BMW.
Yeah, give me that shit. All I know is it better
be driving a Corvette around. All right, y'all.
Donato's pizza topper on it. But nah, bro. So that's gonna happen, and then basically they're gonna evaluate the damage. I'll probably get appraisals from a couple different people that can do body work to my car. And from the looks of it, I don't think it's gonna be repairable. Like I think it's gonna there's like okay, so you have the body of the car, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the plastic that surrounds it, and like the other shit, right? The insulation, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I don't know really how cars are made, so I'm.
Well, you have like the metal body or whatever it's made out of. The bare bones, it's like your skeletal system, and then you have like your skin and your veins in there too. Right. It's the same thing. Cars built the same way. Well, basically, my bumper is so fucked now that I think that like there's damage to the actual body of my car, which means it's super expensive. Like they have to take off.
Is he gonna pay for that though?
His insurance is paying for it.
Good.
He's fucked.
Good.
Like this is probably like a couple grand we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Like it's not cheap.
Now. Here's where I feel like it's gonna get like really trippy for us. So, taking it out of your perspective now, and putting it into his perspective, like he, in his mind, maybe he's not financially stable, and like maybe he's like fucked here and there financially, stuff bills.
Yeah.
He has kids, and like maybe he's going through a rough time, a rough patch, and he was just trying to get the fuck out of there because he couldn't pay for it.
Pretty much.
And now he's like, fucked financially even more, which is gonna make his life a living hell. But I mean, that's like the stuff that you shouldn't worry about. So I'm not trying to like make you like
right, but
like,
you just
okay.
put different perspective.
Yeah. So like we don't know his perspective, but like it's like this could be a perspective that's from him. Like maybe he's like, maybe he's like 2-3 months behind rent. Maybe he can't afford it. Maybe his insurance is gonna be outrageous now, and he's not gonna be able to, pay rent or his mortgage or whatever the fuck. And it's like maybe he's just fucked now. But like you have to go through those things in life.
I mean, if he has full coverage, I don't know how it all works, but it should just pay for it. But his rate's gonna go way up.
Yeah.
It's not like he totaled my car.
But
like
the back end.
But I mean, the back end is fucked. Like if you want to come out there later and look at it, you don't have to.
I am. I'm gonna go get my mail whenever.
Bro, it's fucked. Like okay, so it kind of worked out. I don't know if I should say this on the podcast. I don't think it really matters. But basically, I got hit. Remember, that guy backed into me and fucked up that right side of my bumper.
Right.
Well, I never got a police report filed. We never fixed it. We never filed a claim. Well, now the whole rest of my bumper's fucked. So that means the whole thing's gonna get fixed. Someone else
got him.
So I'm glad I waited that shit, man. It's like a blessing and a curse. Like I got to go through this shit, but now like the whole back of my car is gonna get fixed. Or it could go to the point where they're just like, it's not worth fixing it. We're just gonna give you a lump sum of money. Go get a new car, and I'll be like, Tesla.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're about to get like a Tesla.
Tesla's getting copped.
What kind of Tesla are you gonna get?
I'm gonna get a Model 3.
Is that like a good one?
Model 3 is like super. It's all the Teslas are slick, but the Model 3 it's got all-wheel drive with the performance package, and it gets a super good charge on it. It's just a good all-around car. Like the other ones are like some are like sedan, some are SUVs. etc. And it's the most affordable car. And like the Model 3 is like Chevy's like Camry, or Toyota's like Camry or like Corolla, like the affordable car. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like an Avalon, like you're gonna pay a little bit more for an Avalon. It's luxurious, or a Lexus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because remember I used to have the Avalon.
Yeah, the Avalon throwback.
Yeah, but
bro, you know what's funny? Eric is gonna hate not being on this podcast because he loves cars.
Damn, rip Eric.
Yeah. He's
Eric,
gonna listen back to this podcast and he's gonna be like, fuck.
Eric, you fucked up, dog.
Yeah, you fucked up, dog.
Sorry, Eric. Maybe another time.
Yeah.
Maybe another time.
Well, this probably isn't gonna be your last time on here.
Probably not.
And same with like Chase and Jacob and everybody that's already been on.
Yeah.
So,
anything else you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Alright, dude.
Bro. So after Culver's, going back to just our like where we met.
Yeah.
We eventually started working at Cane's, raising canes.
Yeah.
So the transition from Culver's to raising canes was I guess he was an assistant manager, Craig. He was talking trash behind your back, and he didn't know that we were really cool at the time. Like it was basically like a blooming relationship at the time.
Like we were like getting to know each other, like just hanging out.
Yeah. So he was talking a lot of shit behind your back, and I was like, yo, like that's not cool at all. And I told him, I was like,
you stood up for me for sure.
I was like, yo, like that's fucked up. Like you shouldn't be saying shit like that, especially how hard he works back in the kitchen for you.
Yeah.
And so like after that, I mean, he basically probably knew that I was gonna tell you. So I mean, I went back and like next time we chilled, I think it was probably like the next day.
You did.
And
you texted me and you were like, Craig was talking big shit.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then I had to deal, because back in the Culver's kitchen, that specific location hired a lot. I think there were a lot of illegals, like Mexicans there.
I know what you're talking about. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. One of them was Jessica's aunt.
Okay, alright, listen. Some of them were. I know that for a fact. Because that one, remember that Jose guy? That dog got deported. That's why he quit. Remember he was there for a little bit and then he was gone?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got deported.
I think, he was definitely
That's
illegal.
just hearsay. I don't know. But these people, I'd always worked back there, so there was always a language barrier, right? There was always, like, I could never communicate how I truly felt about something or how they truly felt about something. So basically, it got to the point where I guess they got fed up with what I was doing, or they didn't think I was a hard worker, and they started complaining to Lisa, which was the owner of the establishment.
The owner franchise.
Of she was the franchisee along with her husband. And she would pull me aside and be like, these people are complaining about you, like you're not doing a good job. And she never believed them. But people were constantly starting to complain about me and then talking shit. Like, I guess it's because they hated me, like, for my position, like, that I was in, I guess, maybe?
I really don't know why people hated you, because, like, the whole front, I would work in the front. That's how me and Jeff basically kind of started to get to know each other, was basically, I was working in the front.
I would drop the food down, and you would put the food on the plate. Yeah.
And then I would take them out to the people, and I would be in the dining room, like, serving the people, and, like, wiping the tables and shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how we met, and like you would get the orders, wrap it super fast, or like put it in the boat super fast, and then like drop it, and like everything. You were like basically taking the head of the kitchen.
Yeah, easy shit.
And that's what you're supposed to do. And the position was called middle. Yeah. And
because you're in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah, and you were supposed to
everything coordinated through that.
You're basically like the head chef.
Right.
And so, like, I guess that's why people hated you. I don't know.
I guess because all right. Middle was not per se like a mentally easy job, because sometimes if it got really busy, it got hard.
Yeah.
But like, if it wasn't a busy day and you were on middle, that was the easiest spot in the restaurant, because your job was literally to just stand there, and people would bring everything to you, and you would tell people what to do. That's all you had to do. Yeah. So I think people just hated me for that, and then they thought I was lazy but I was just doing my job. Like, the job title was to sit there and look at and supervise other people and tell them what to do. And I guess they'd been there for so long, like the Mexicans and I guess other people, they just hated me for it, because I was trying to tell them what to do, but I was just trying to do my job and what my boss was telling me to do. Because she was trying to get me to push, because like those dirty fuckers wouldn't like wear like gloves whenever they were supposed to.
Huge thing.
And she would be like, Jeff, you need to push this glove thing, because like they wouldn't listen to Lisa. Remember, people would only wear gloves whenever Lisa was there, the owner.
Yeah.
And but I would start pushing that, and then they hated me for it because I was like doing what she said, but I was the one working there all the time because I was getting like 40 hours. You know what I mean? Working there all the fucking time.
Yeah, as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I had co-op, so I had the time. You know, I got out of school like noon.
And we were making hella money.
But anyways, that was that. And then we went to Canes. What were you want to talk about Canes?
Well, first, before we talk to Canes, I remember like after like a year had passed of Culver's and like right when it was leading up to like you just walking in and quitting.
Yeah.
We can talk about that too, but near the end, I was on the grill, which is to the left of middle.
Yeah.
And I was over there like squishing like the burgers and shit. And you're like, this burger's old. Yeah. And you threw that shit in the corner.
I remember that, dude. You were like, are you gonna clean that up? I was like, fuck no, I'm not gonna clean that
you're
up.
like, fuck that.
No.
I don't know if that ever got cleaned up because the entire time that like
They
after
don't
you had
clean
left,
back there.
after you had left. So I had co-op too, so I would work in the evening. So I don't know what happened in the morning, because usually
I would go there around 2 p.m.
Yeah, so nobody cleaned that shit in the evening. So I don't know if somebody cleaned it in the morning. That shit's probably still there.
The Krabby Patty for real,
bro. You said this one's old.
Yeah, just do that shit back there. You're like, what the fuck?
I was so fucking weak.
That was.
That was.
I remember that.
That was so funny.
I don't think I was trying to throw it in the corner. I think I was trying to throw it to the other side of the grill, but then I just strong armed it.
You that shit, bro.
Oh, I did? Oh, damn.
The wall said.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Rip the burger, man. But yeah, I remember that. But yeah, then back to the story. You had texted me and were like, listen, dog, like, Craig's talking shit. And that really hit me hard because Craig was my mentor at Culver's, like, because he would be the middle guy in the kitchen, like the leader of the kitchen. Well, he wanted to be promoted to a manager, but Lisa wouldn't do that because no one was there to take his spot in the kitchen. Well, he brought me under his wing and taught me everything he knew and all of his little secrets and his tricks, which got me really good at menu. I would have gotten good at middle regardless, you know what I mean? But he definitely like gave me the time to practice, and then people saw I was good, so they gave me the position, because that was not an easy thing to be able to get. Like every time I walked in there, I would do middle. That was my job. You know what I mean? That was the easiest job in the restaurant.
It was like the most mental tough, but it was the easiest physically.
Yes. Yeah. So mentally it was hard, but physically it was not. Anyways, you texted me that, and then I was like, man, I'm fucking tired of all these people talking shit. Like, I'm just sitting here trying to do my job, get a paycheck and go home. You know, and whatever. Fuck this shit. And I remember I went upstairs to my dad. I had to go into for my shift like in 15 minutes, like 10 minutes. And I went upstairs. I was like, Dad, I don't want to work here anymore. And he was like, what the fuck? Why? And I explained to him the situation. He was like, dude, just go in there and just quit. And I was like, all right, bet. So I literally walked down there. Lisa, the owner, was making ice cream in the front, custard, whatever.
I need to talk to you now.
And I was like, I need to talk, like, get in the office. Like, I wasn't a dick, but I was like, can I talk? Like, can we talk, like, in the office?
And you came in there with
all my shit. Yeah. And so she knew.
Yeah, she knew that
she knew I was finna quit. Yeah, so she gets back there, dude, and she's like, well, what's going on? And I was oblivious
to everything,
bitch. And then I told her, and long story short, she basically was like begging me to stay and like was offering me to like switch me around in different positions, like out of the kitchen, to not, because I was an assistant manager at that point. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I'd gotten a pay raise and everything, and she was like, well, we can have you do like some assistant manager stuff up front, like, you know, this and that, whatever. And I was like, no. Like, there's no way you're gonna convince me to stay here. I was like, these people are fucking shitty. They treat me like shit, and I'm not standing for it. Like, I don't want this toxic bullshit in my life. Like, I didn't need that. I was 16. I could go get a job anywhere.
And at the time, I don't know if you remember, but you were already talking to Canes before you had quit.
My only thing I was gonna say, there was a guy there. Shout out Jared Maloney.
Hey, shout out. I remember him too. He was dope.
Yeah.
Maloney.
Maloney, dude. he knew Branson. And Branson was a shift manager at Canes. Branson was one of his good friends, and so Branson got him a job there, and then Branson hired me and you.
Yeah.
And those were his last hires, and remember he got fired. But anyways, I already had another job lined up, and so I was comfortable going there and just quitting. And dude, I walked out, everyone was like, "What? What's going on?" You know, like, why is Jeff quitting?
Yeah.
You know, and I walked the fuck out. I was like, man, I'm just not. It was the easiest job on the face of the earth, but I was just not dealing with the fake shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just no more.
And I was working later on the day that you quit. And everybody came up to me, "Why did Jeff quit?"
Like you give a fuck. Like, suck our dick, bitch. Dicks, bitch.
He was so happy with us. And Katie had brought me into the office trying to talk to me like, "So why did Jeff quit?" I was
like trying to get the scoop.
Yeah,
so she could tell everybody.
I was like, he quit?
Yeah, you gotta play it up. Yeah.
But I was like, I guess because Craig was talking shit to him. Or something. I don't know. Just trying to play dumb, but like, because in reality, it's none of her business to know why you quit.
Yeah, I quit because I quit. Yeah. Fuck them.
And so like, it was just kind of funny to me that everybody was asking me, because at that time, I think we were like really becoming.
We were chill, because that like I was like, damn, like he's a real one. Like that's dope that he stood up for me and like told me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's how you know who your real friends are. The people that stand up for you and like do what the right thing. You know what I mean? I was like, that's a bet. Because that really like I think that really made us close friends at that point.
Yeah.
Because then we switched from there and got a new job
at Canes. You were working there a couple months before I was.
Did you continue to work at Culver's or did you quit?
I worked a couple more months there, like 2 max. 2 more months.
It was like 1 or 2 months.
Yeah. And then I was just like, man, this is fucking gay.
Yeah.
I just want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then you came over to Canes.
And so, it's so crazy though, because like, I knew some people were fake at Culver's, but I didn't know everybody was fake.
Everyone was just fake, man. And I didn't do shit to anyone. Like, I just chilled.
The only person that I say wasn't fake was really, well, I guess there's 2 people. You got Hannah and Darian.
Okay, Hannah and Darian were.
Those were the only one, and Jacob Porter. I forgot that.
Did Jacob work there?
He did. That's how on the podcast I was like, damn, that's where we met. I was like, I feel like I knew you somewhere.
What?
And Zach worked there too.
Zach Costello, yeah, that's my roommate. Yeah, he worked there too.
Yo, shout out Zach.
Shout out Zach out there grinding in the field, baby.
Shout out Zach and Jacob.
Papa Titty for the Marine Corps or something. That's what he always says. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, man, then we started working at Canes, and then we did that for like 2 years.
It was so good. Like, the beginning of Canes was so good. Like, the first like 3 to 5 months.
For whoever in the hell listens to this, if you don't know what Raising Canes is, it's a fast food joint, obviously.
It's not a chain that's really well known.
It's not a well-known chain. Think about it as like a Zaxby's, but basically all it is chicken fingers, and that's all chicken fingers and fries is all we make.
Yeah, and toast.
And toast. That like Texas toast. That's all we make, and it's very prominent in the southern region of the United States.
Yeah. And the East, I guess.
The Southeast, the Southern United States, Louisiana a lot, Carolinas, Kentucky. Kentucky's the furthest north that has a Canes, I'm pretty sure. They're expanding, but basically it's an easy job. Like, all you have to do is make chicken tenders and fries, and then put them in boxes and ship them out. It's pretty easy.
But the thing with Canes is you had to be fast.
You had to be really fast because they expected that because there wasn't a lot on the menu.
It was super busy.
And then the volume that you do at Canes was probably quadruple or 5 times the amount of Culver's.
Yep.
A lot more fast pace, and you actually had expectations to be fast. Like at Culver's, if you had a 10-minute drive-through ticket, that was normal. But if you were at 10 minutes in a drive-through ticket at Canes, you were getting yelled at.
You were getting yelled at.
Like, they were pissed.
Like, they were picking on you specifically, because it's usually just one person's fault on why it didn't get done.
Yes. And then at the end of the day, even if it was like Toast Guy's fault, it was still like the person who's making the chicken's fault, because I was supposed to tell him, hey, hurry the fuck up, or get him some help.
But at the beginning, you weren't the chicken person.
Wasn't. No, I didn't. Basically, I was on Toast, and people wanted to fire me. Because they didn't
beginning?
Yeah, they didn't think I was good enough, and they didn't think I was fast, or because I came from Culver's, dude. Like, I was
you didn't know what
chill.
to expect.
Yeah. And then one day, remember Jalen?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen was doing Bird, and he was like, man, he's like, fuck this. He's like, you want to come do this? And I was like, bet. So I did it because I'd never done it. And it was just like, I did boards, like where you put the food in the boxes, and I did toast where you just make the toast. And then I did Bird, and then they said once I started doing the chicken, which they call that Bird, like go do Bird.
Yeah, Bird.
They were like, you just started like progressing, and like that's whenever we decided we wanted to keep you. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't know this was like some sort of prestigious like job. Like this is fast food, dog.
They had these people that come in. I think it's every 3 months.
Yeah, called ops.
Yeah, they're called it ops, and basically they come in doing like a cleanliness inspection, like how you run.
It's food inspection, except corporate. It's a corporate food inspector basically,
right?
And you get a score, and based on your score, dictates a lot of shit, like who your general manager is. Because remember that old Tyler
Myers.
Hey, buddy.
That's how he talk. He be like, hey, buddy, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, dude, good old Tyler Myers. Remember, he got fired, and then that new Brian guy came in. Anyways, long story short, ops dictates a lot about the store, and basically whether or not, if they flip the crew, like they'll fire everyone and flip the crew if you all suck. Shit like that. But connecting to that, I work at Donato's now, obviously, and there was a guy that came and worked there. His name was Darius, and he worked at Cane's after we quit. And so I'd always talk to him, like, who's still at Cane's? Like, because remember, we quit a little bit because it just got too much. Like, we had to do too much of, like, the work, and it was just... I remember I was getting paid, like, X amount of dollars, and they would start people out at, like, $8.50.
Yeah.
Well, then they said that they were going to start people out at my wage.
And that's fucking wrong.
And I had been there for like 2.5 or 3 years. And they're like, don't worry, we're gonna give you a raise to compensate. And I was like, okay, bet. I thought I was expecting like a $2 or $3 raise. Dude, I got a 25-cent raise.
Yeah.
What?
It's
you know what?
dumb.
And that's why I quit. I was like, man, fuck that. Like,
bro, I think Cane's kind of like I think Culver's like it solidified it, but like Cane's hardened it, like our friendship, because Cane's we really started experimenting, like weed, drinking, just having party times, like fun times, dumb times, like
stupid times,
like and still like. Cause I would spend the night at your house, like literally every night.
We worked every fucking day.
Yeah, so if I wasn't spending the night at your house, then I'd go back home, and then we would work the next day, and then we'd go straight back to your house.
Yeah, we just go back to my crib
and smoke.
Yeah, cause my dad didn't care.
Yeah,
shout out my dad. He's a real one for that.
Yeah, shout out Senior Jeff.
Yeah, he's a real one for that. I don't think my mom will ever listen to this, cause
no,
she doesn't think.
Unless you show her. Hey mom, look at this.
Well, she didn't think I did, but I did, and then she was like devastated whenever that whole tragic event happened, and I had to tell her because my dad made me.
Yeah, my dad kind of knew because I was getting fat.
He was like, I kind of suspected that's what y'all were doing. I was like, because he thought we were gay, and I was like, no, homie, like I get pussy, dog. Like, no. I'm not fucking no booty hole out here. I'm not fucking no male. Like,
yeah,
no.
I've always been the lonely type, so. Shout out, I'm still not gay.
Yeah,
just saying I don't get pussy.
Yeah, well, in the big picture here, like there's nothing wrong with being gay. That's not what I'm saying.
No, definitely not. Just not me.
Like, not me, dog. Like, I'm not gay. Like,
right.
I like girls. I like titties.
Yeah.
I like big old bouncy ass. Like, that's what I like. You know?
We had a lot of good times at Cane's though. Like, Branson, he's like he's the guy that got both of us hired, but again, like this is like there's like a month or there's probably like 3-month gap between like when you started and I started, because so I think it was 3 months like after you had quit Culver's. Is like I was still at Culver's for 3 months, and then I quit, and then I stayed like unemployed for like 2 weeks, and you gotta think I'm like 17 or something.
You didn't care as much. Like, you had money.
Right.
In the bank.
I didn't have bills though.
Right.
So now is a completely different story.
Now we're in a different fucking story.
Help.
If you're out there, help.
Listen, please. No, but at Cane's, like we met like Diego,
yes,
Terrence,
yeah,
and like I forget his name. Was it T-Dog or some shit? The guy that the guy that sandwich heard.
Oh my
her
God.
sandwich.
Will.
Man, this man, he would try to intimidate me when I first started working there. Cause what was the other guy's name? Chris.
Mm-hmm.
It was Will and Chris, and I guess it was Chris that would do or some shit.
He like bark in your ear or something.
And I don't mean anything by this, but like he was a big black dude, and so like he would come up to me. Yeah, they both were. And at Cane's, we would have like roast sessions, and it was like friendly, but it was
shots fired.
It was friendly but hurtful.
Yes.
It was like, we don't really mean it, but you do look like this.
Yeah, right. Like, it was hurtful sometimes, dog. Like,
the worst one that I got called was Jalen when he called me Velma.
From Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, dude, I was like, damn, you're right.
They got me on Air Bud. They said I looked like Air Bud.
The kid that was like,
oh no, that guy too.
Yeah. But
they said some hurtful shit, man.
They did. They said some hurtful shit, but we shot back. I mean, it's not like we were just like, all right.
But I'd always say some stupid shit because I'm just not like that.
I don't know what the roast, like, I didn't really have like a childhood where I could like relate to like characters that they were talking about.
Right.
And so it was like, you look like fucking Rudolph.
Yeah, the Jalen. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, whenever I started working there, this guy he would try to come up and intimidate me. I was doing toast because whenever you first start at Cane's, you do toast.
That's what you do, yeah.
And you either do toast or we call the dishes tank.
Yeah,
and I actually
go wash
enjoy
some
tank.
Dishes. Yeah, you love that shit.
I would love.
It was easy.
It was
hard.
I would knock that shit out too.
Yeah, easy.
But so like he would walk up to me and he would do bird and shit. So he's over here like getting all the chicken fingers in the middle of his fingers, like laying that shit down and like looking at me while he's doing it, not saying shit. And then after he get done,
he was fucking with you.
And dude, like he'd wash his hands like with all the flour on it, and he would just walk over to me like this close. He'd be like right here, like. And I'll be like,
what?
I'm like, damn.
Did you say anything to him?
I'm like, what's up, man?
He was just fucking with you, dude.
Yeah, he was, but like he was just testing me. I feel like and Will's over there, he's like, "You better quit it, Scooby-Doo," or some shit.
Oh no.
So it was like he was like trying to like diffuse like the situation where he's like trying to like get Chris's attention by roasting him and shit, and they would go back and forth. And then Joe was still there, so like
the big swole white guy.
Yeah, big swole white guy, and he would. He's like, you better stop before I pick you up and throw you. Bro, that shit was fun at first, but then it all just got tedious.
Everyone got fired.
Everybody.
And then we got a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah, Chris and Will, they got fired or they quit. And then Joe, he was on like a leave, like where he could come in and work whenever he wanted, but like it was like all right if he did that. Like he was still getting paid if he came in.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that, just like a leave or some shit. But he would never come in though, and so it was really just me, you, Jalen, Terrence, and Branson.
Yeah.
And sometimes Jared.
Remember Chase?
And Chase.
Jared, yeah.
Chase. We had, that reminds me, our first edible was through Chase, the cookie, and we went to Red Lobster. We were like, man, we don't feel shit. 30 minutes go like, we're high as fuck.
It was bad, dude. I remember that, man.
Bro, we were just like looking at each other. We were like, you feel anything? Nah,
like,
man.
What do I feel right now? Like it's like creeping up on me because I didn't smoke anything.
It was like 0 to 100, and there was no like 25, 50, 70. It was 0, 100.
Yeah, like you just got smacked.
And there was no in between.
But we didn't fuck with like any of the other harder shit. Like we always just stuck to, like just normal marijuana.
Yeah, it was either weed or drinking, and that was it.
Yeah, we never let it get.
I hate to admit this because we were pretty dumb, but we would always drink and drive. And those weren't our proudest days, but like those were the days like where we could live it up and not really think about the repercussions.
I guess. Yeah, but we also weren't going like super far distance. It's still not okay to drink
right.
over the limit and then drive. Obviously, it's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But as a kid, I mean, you just do stupid shit and you learn your lessons. Thank God we're still here. We didn't die or kill somebody.
Yeah, thank God.
We weren't like super fucked up. Like we were probably buzzed, like more than enough to where we shouldn't have been driving, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But we were never like drunk off our ass trying to drive.
And plus, I feel like stereotypically, like our parents, like back in like the 80s or some shit, like, or even like late 70s, like they were definitely drinking and driving.
Oh yeah.
Like
Like, because that was before, like, all, I mean, I think drinking and driving has always been against the law, but I think, because, like, seatbelts back then.
Yeah, you didn't have to wear
You
one.
have to wear a seatbelt most of the time.
And, like, back then, like, shrooms. Can you give me another one?
Yeah.
Bet. But, like, back then, like shrooms and acid and, like, weed.
That was, like, universally accepted.
Yeah.
Almost. It was illegal, but, like, remember, like, I think, like, 70s, everyone was doing, like, psychedelic shit and, you know, like, weed and
Even
acid
80s.
and shrooms and whatever.
Like 80s, early 90s.
I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I think that's what happened. I'm not sure.
I mean, that's like, I feel like definitely that, like, that was what was happening. But
Yeah.
to change the subject, kind of, what are your goals in life?
Damn. I can already tell that's the extra. I already knew it.
Huh?
I brought some Corona Premier over here, and then I had one Corona Extra, and I could just tell from the taste.
You only brought 3?
4. Yeah.
So you,
But this is the 3rd.
oh.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about next?
So the next thing we're going to talk about is your goals and just like life. You have any like long-term, short-term goals? Like I know you're big in fitness right now and you really want to do the personal training stuff, or that you would like to at least.
Yeah.
But like, do you have anything else like that you're looking at like in your future? Do you see anything? Because I feel like that's like a relatively like new goal that just kind of came up.
It is. Because it's just like, in my opinion, life, like a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you where I was going to be at right now. And that's how it always will be. And as you get older, you learn that, you know? But for me, like, new goals pop up all the time.
Yeah.
But for right now, like with your question, in my opinion, my goals right now are just, I'm quote unquote trying to make it. I'm trying to be able to like provide.
And how are you
in
going
my
to try
own
to
life.
do that?
You know, right now, because I just deliver pizzas right now, and people are extremely generous with tipping and stuff like that. So I made a pretty good.
Yeah, don't sleep on delivering shit, because even if you're like delivering anything, like Chinese, people love that shit if
Yeah,
you get
people
it there
tip.
timely.
Yeah, I know people will tip. So I made a lot of good money from Donato's. I also make minimum wage there along, because most pizza delivery restaurants, you get paid split pay. So while you're on the road, you get paid like $2.14 an hour. But if you're in the store, you get paid $7.25. Okay. Well, the whole point of being a delivery driver is being on the road. So if you're on the road, you're making shit, right? Well, at Donato's, you make $7.25 all the time, and if you're really lucky, you make $8.75 because they made all the old school drivers got a raise. But then if you quit, like they didn't give you a raise anymore. Long story short, it doesn't matter. Like I'm making a lot of money right now delivering pizzas, but so like with the whole personal training thing, on my off days, I'm planning. My goal is to fit people in on my off days. I know I'm not gonna have a whole lot of time to myself, but it's basically how it's gonna have to be for a couple of months until I can really see like, okay, I really like this personal training thing and I wanna go further. Like I wanna become a nutritionist. I wanna become a physical therapist.
Right.
Like I wanna do this.
You're leaving the doors like
Open.
cracked.
Well, crack. Yeah, that's a good word. Pretty much. I'm not closing anything. Like, and also the whole point of it is I'm just trying to make as much money as I can right now. Because I know that sounds very stereotypical, and that's what everybody would say. But I'm in a situation that not a lot of people can ever say that they'll ever be in their life. Like, I have this house to myself. Because my friend lets me stay there. He got it signed over from, tragic events. But, I mean, I stay there basically, I pay very, very minimum money a month. Like, normal living costs for people, you got like $800 for rent, then you have car insurance, then you have bills, like cell phone, electric, gas. Well, like me, like I pay like the electric, the gas, but I don't pay my car insurance. Like, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay my phone bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm taking advantage of that. And that's just my goal right now.
That's something that I've always admired about you though, for real. Is that like you've always taken advantage of the situations that you've been in. Because
Not in like a malicious way, but like in a smart way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not the type of person to be like, yeah, I'm taking advantage of this shit because like this is like this is it. Like, you're taking advantage of it from a prestigious way to where like you're like, you know, if I do this for a certain amount of time, I can save up and be like, you know, way better off.
Right, and really set myself up.
Instead of being like kind of stuck up about it, like, haha, I'm like taking advantage of you. Right. You're not like that.
Yeah.
You're more of like, all right, so this is my situation. This is the choices that I've been given, and I'm taking those choices, and not because people not necessarily know what I'm doing, but just because of like the opportunity that they're allowing me to pursue in the future.
Yeah, that's well said.
So it's like, that's something that I've always admired about you, is like you're always thinking like, it's kind of like the game of chess. A lot of people relate chess to life, and you're always like a couple steps ahead. Not necessarily, and you're making sure everybody's on the same page with you. It's not like you're like secretively like taking advantage of somebody.
Right, like
you're
I'm
like letting them know like, I'm very thankful for what you're doing for me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I text him all the time and be like, dude, I appreciate it.
But even like with your dad, like you were with your dad like what?
A couple months ago.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like at the old house, at the old crib. Like you were with him like a year
or two, yeah.
Yeah, and you were pulling your own weight. Like you weren't making trouble for him. You were making sure, you know, that he knows that you appreciate him, and like it's his house, like
it's his rules.
Yeah, it's his
respect.
Respect. Yeah. And so like that's something that a lot of people don't do, especially when they're given the opportunities that you've been presented.
Right.
So that's something that I've always admired about you, and I think that's super cool and dope. That because like I said, not a lot of people do that. And I think that's another reason why we're pretty good friends, is because I see the realness in you outside of our friendship.
Right.
And it's kind of like real recognize real.
Yeah. Same to you. Obviously, like you're out here on your own grind too.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool too, though. In a way, like we've had our own separate grinds,
but we're still like chilling. Like,
yeah. And that's kind of cool for everybody who doesn't have like a best friend that hasn't like gone through like a different grind, and you're going through like kind of like a similar grind. Like two best friends that would like when they turned 18, they moved out. Like that's what I did, but you didn't move out when you were 18. You took advantage of your situation, and like
I could have.
You
but
could
there was
have.
nothing pushing me to do that.
Right.
Like my dad wasn't like, you have to get the fuck out right now.
Right.
Like for you, there was like, I'm not saying like anything negative. Like you just wanted to get the fuck out of your house.
Yeah, there was a lot of issues going on.
Just
in
negative
my house.
energy.
Yeah, and I'm all about the PLP. That's why.
That peace, love, positivity.
Yeah, and especially the Rat Pack, real all the time. Like whenever
you was being real, like you just want to get the fuck out.
Yeah, and that's what I was. That's what I always tell my family. I'm like, I mean, you know, you all are arguing all the time, and I'm not having that shit. Like,
Yeah, like
I'm out. So when I turned 18, I moved out.
You did.
And let me tell you, it wasn't the easiest decision, because like the repercussions of like 4 or 5 months down the road, like I really started struggling financially.
Yeah, it was rough.
And everybody who knows me knows, like it was rough,
man. Yeah, I know. But sure, like you made it through. Like
making it. I still haven't made it where I want to be, but I've definitely got out of the
But
struggle.
you're out of your low.
Yeah. I mean, I was
up.
low.
Yeah.
For anybody who's listening still this far in, but I was real low. Shout out to Eric. He was the one that, I mean, not that you weren't the one, but like whenever I had come home from like this business trip, I was talking to Eric, and I was struggling really bad on financial stuff. Like I couldn't keep up with bills. Like rent was due, and like I had like $4 in my bank account, and like I didn't know how the fuck I was gonna pay rent.
Yeah.
I had like no water, no water in the fridge, no food, and so like I was really going through the struggle, like a stereotypical like real struggle. And like I was kind of like I was raised in a family like where you don't like necessarily like cry. Like you kind of like get like a hard shell, and like you don't cry. Like you just accept it for what it is. Yeah. And you just keep moving on. So when I was talking to Eric one night, I was just like, man, this fucking sucks. I'm hurting so bad. Like I'm struggling. And like he just said, let it out. And I just started crying. Like I cried for like 30 minutes. I mean, it was so good. Shout out to Eric. I love you, man. love you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I love everybody who just stuck by me, for real. I mean, because now that I've made it out, I see like what you were saying back in like the Culver days. Like I see who's real, and I've never had that many friends really, but like I've had a lot of friends.
Like you could, but like I feel like me and you, like we're selective.
Yeah, I'm very selective in my friends.
Like we don't let just anybody into the life. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. And that's not to say that we won't let anybody else into our lives,
but like it's selective.
It's very selective.
Yes.
It's very like hard to like describe what you mean by selective. Like it's like somebody who's real. I mean, that's like the best way to describe.
Right. It takes time to realize who those people are.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight.
No. Like it's not gonna just take one situation. Like you gotta prove to someone like your weight and like who you are.
My only real friends I've known for about 5 years. My only real friends, and I can only say that I really have like 4. I was gonna say 3, but I'm gonna say 4, and I'm gonna shout them out right now. Obviously you. Shout out Jeff. Shout out Eric. Shout out Nolan, and shout out Chase. I love you all. Thank you.
Yeah. Real talk.
I mean, but that's super real though. It's like you gotta have those friends, especially in like your most like rough times and your lowest of lows. Like you gotta have those friends.
It helps.
And I noticed this with my brother recently. Not to bring up like his situation, like his stories and all that, but he went through a rough patch recently, which I'll tell you after the podcast if I've not already told you.
I think you might have.
Maybe, but he went through a rough patch recently, and he came over here the other day, and he was just saying like he hasn't had any like real friends, and like whenever he's like really wanting his friends to support him, it's not the same as family. Family is like always there. They're always there, but friends, like they have their own lives going on, their own problems,
right.
And like so like it's you want your friends to be there for you, not just your family. And he said he looked around and like none of his friends were there for him, except like very few.
Right.
And I mean, I get that, but like it's just like that's why you gotta have friends so you can talk. And that's another reason for this podcast really is like to have people on that I haven't really necessarily met yet, or like I'm not really good friends with, just to talk to them. Like maybe they need somebody to talk to, just to like talk about and get shit off their mind.
It helps.
Or just like I'm not saying Jacob has any problems, Jacob Porter, but you know, we talked a lot about just music. And maybe that got his mind off of things.
Right, helped him personally from...
Right, and he doesn't even have to tell me. If it helped him, I'm glad.
Yeah. Shout out Jacob. He's cool. He was always chill to me in high school. There were so many assholes in high school, but like there were very few that like every time I saw him, like be like, "What's up, man?" Even if I wasn't like the closest with them, just the fact that they were just chill, nice people. You know what I mean? Like there were a few. Like Jacob was one of them. I mean, Devontae Robinson. Yeah. He was always cool. Like we never talked. Like he was like a part of like that popular clique. I was never a part of that. But if I ever saw him in the hallway, he'd be like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah.
I mean, like just to be friendly.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I respect Devontae for that because in middle school he was the same way for me, and in high school.
He's just a good person.
Yeah.
There's just not many people like that. Like a lot of people are just stuck up assholes, man. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
And,
I feel like maybe not necessarily like the quiet ones are the ones that you should try to like really get to know, because sometimes the quiet ones have the biggest problems, and like you don't want to talk to them because they have problems, but right. At the end of the day, I can guarantee you they're gonna be real with you, because like the quiet ones, like once you get to know them, they're gonna talk to you like how they would talk to like anybody.
Once they come out of their shell.
Yeah, once they come out of their shell. Like I feel like everybody has a shell whenever you first meet somebody.
Yeah. It's just how it is.
Well,
like you're just
maybe not everybody.
Okay,
because
some people don't.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like me for the most part, not trying to like say, oh, I'm never like not necessarily fake, but I don't have a shell, because I definitely do have a shell. But like recently, like I just stopped caring about what people have thought of. Yeah, and recently, I mean within like the year. Right. Not the new year.
It takes a while to be able to do that.
Yeah. You just have to become comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of people.
It is, man. It took me a while as well. But then it's just, I just don't care.
It's so
man.
good once you just stop caring about what other people think about you.
Yeah, because some people just go their whole lives. I feel like will go their whole lives just caring what other people think of them.
Yeah.
And that's gonna dictate their decisions and their moves. And all I'm caring about is literally, like, am I being a good person? You know what I mean? Like, am I supporting the people I need to support? You know what I mean? Because like once it's all said and done, like at the end of the day, we're dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're not living, you're dying.
Right, like at the end of everything, like your death is awaiting. So it's just like, yeah, you might be rich right now or you might be poor right now, but it's just like, to me, it's like I said, it's who am I being? You know, like me and you, like we can have real conversations, like we like support each other, like in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like same with family, like staying close to family, and you know, like just being a good person. Like at the end of the day, whenever you're on your deathbed, like at least I can say I did that. Maybe I wasn't a millionaire or owned a business or you know, got a Nobel fucking prize or whatever the hell, but at least, you know what I mean? Like to the people around me, like I made an impact in their lives in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's this, I guess it's not really like a story, but it's kind of like an analogy, I guess. But it's by this guy named Les Brown. And if you like really like motivational things, look him up. He's super like motivational and inspirational. But he said when you're on your deathbed, you get surrounded by your past could be's. Like as in like your ghost of your past, like what your ghost could have been. So like don't have any regrets, because like at your deathbed you're gonna see like what you could have been. And like so like if you didn't make a move on a girl or like a woman, and you know, who knows, that could have been your future wife, and that could have been one of your ghosts on your deathbed. Like you could have been so much more happy
Right.
with that woman if you would have just talked to her.
Right.
Which is a lot easier said than done, but I mean once it's done,
Sometimes, yeah.
once it's done, it's done. And then like if you get rejected, you got rejected,
There's
move
like
on, who cares?
1,000,001. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so it's like if you didn't go skydiving, if you didn't do like, if you didn't travel the world, like if you didn't pursue a certain career, if you didn't do what you love to do, like you're surrounded by all these ghosts of what you could have been. And so like that's a big thing, like whenever it comes to like being real with who you are. Like just accept who you are, accept like what you could be, and do it and pursue it.
Yeah. I agree. What was that whole fucking point? Like, well, I feel like we get off topic a lot and just keep going.
I feel like it was just being friends, being real.
Well, yeah, that, but like, was there like a certain like topic that we were trying to like talk about?
I don't know. We were talking about your life goals, and then it kind of just got off topic.
That's what it was. Yeah, I feel like we already hit that.
Yeah, we already hit that, but I think that was like the last topic.
Yeah, that was the last topic.
Unless you want to talk about some stories, we can end it here.
It's up to you, man.
I mean, we could talk about some weed stories where we'd go back into elementary school.
We could talk about that if you want to. We have to be selective with what we say. You might have to cut. We can talk, but you might have to cut some of it out.
Like what parts?
I don't know. Like if we talk, like I would let you know, cause like I know what parts
You talking
need to cut
about?
out.
You talking about like that moment?
Definitely don't talk about that moment.
I wasn't thinking about that.
No,
anyway.
but like, well then, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we can talk about whatever. Yeah, as long as we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I was definitely not gonna talk about.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, we're on the same page.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I was just talking about back in the school. Like I was thinking about like I remember we would go back to throwback. All right, so Canes taught us a lot, and we're going back to the Canes days because this is back when we would really were quote unquote bad.
I guess, yeah.
And so
it was because we had a lot of bad influences at Canes. Like Alex Diego was a really bad influence.
Yeah, and by when I say Diego, I mean Alex, because we always called him Diego.
Yeah, Alex Diego was his name, and he was we'll give a little bit of backstory here for if people are listening this deep.
All right.
It's basically.
I think this is the longest one it's ever been.
For real?
Yeah.
Dude, we could literally talk forever.
Yeah.
Like, we have so much shit to talk about.
Yeah.
But, anyways, Alex Diego, I think he was white and Mexican. Basically, this kid, he lived in a trailer park, and all he had was his mom. And he was very hardcore into the drugs.
At first, he was super cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting to that.
If we're gonna say that he was super...
Let me give the summary, and then we can start talking about the stories, because I'll summarize it really good. Because I hung out with him more than you did.
You did.
All right. Fuck, I just dropped my phone. Rip phone. But so, anyways, this kid, I met him whenever I started working there, and he for some reason he just took an interest in trying to be my friend. And basically, he always told me, he was like, "Listen, man, like if we hang out, like." He's like, I don't know if you smoke, but he's like, I'm gonna be smoking if we hang out. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, I've done that before, but I'm not really big into it. How many months into Canes
was that?
I think that was probably like 2 or 3 months. He like came up to me and was like, what's up? And was like trying to be my friend. And I think he saw an opportunity in that somehow. Like advantageous for him. Like, it was gonna benefit him. Because I had a car and he didn't have a car.
You think from the start it was like that?
From the start, I'm not entirely sure. I think at least a little bit. I think he was trying to use me for my car.
I think that was definite, yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, I think that it escalated from there. Because he started to realize how much he could really take. But anyways, he was a kid, he was my friend, and then Aaron started working at Canes, and then I introduced him to Alex, and basically this kid was a super big stoner.
Super hippie.
Yeah, super hippie. Lived in a trailer park, very simple life. Worked at Canes full time and basically just smoked pot in his free time.
By the way, he got fired. I don't know if you knew.
Yeah, he finally got fired. Anyways, yeah, that's basically who the kid we're talking about is. And I started hanging out with him heavy because he was genuinely just seemed to be a cool guy, super chill. He seemed real. In the beginning, that's why we talk so much about like being real, like, and like who we let into our lives, because we've been burned before.
Yeah,
you know,
by
like
people our age.
like money wise, like just pretty much money wise.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing. Is like,
super
don't fuck with my money. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, don't fuck with my money. Like there's no reason for you to do that.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, basically, we hung out with this kid a lot. I carted him around everywhere. We'd hang out a lot on the weekends, and basically throughout our whole Canes career, at least the start of it, we were really good friends. And then towards the end of it, obviously, he started taking from us, saying he was
never
gonna
gave
pay
it
us
back.
Never gave anything back, and basically we just cut him off one day. So yeah, that's basically the backstory. But in that, now you know who the kid is.
Yeah.
That we're talking about. These are, I don't know how many we're going to talk about, but these are some of the stories we had with him. We can talk about the first time you smoked. I mean,
let's talk about that then.
You want to start with that?
Yeah.
But like we chilled. Let's do a story before you smoked, the story of you smoking, and then a story after.
Okay. So the first time that we chilled together.
First time we chilled. Okay.
When I first chilled, because you all would hang out a lot more than...
Yeah, we hung out a lot, and then you tagged along.
Yeah, I would tag along, but I would drink 4 Locos, because we would get our coworker to, his name was Terrence. We would get him, I'd pay him like $20 to get like 4 or like
we just
3.
let him keep the change.
Yeah, and I'd get like 3-4 Locos, and he would keep
big into that. I would, because I was the one driving.
Right, and Diego, he would drink with me and he would smoke. So like it kind of gave me an incentive to drink and be around.
Yeah.
And so I'd let Terrence keep the change, and we would go back in the Avalon days when you were living at your apartment.
Toyota Avalon.
Yeah, your Toyota Avalon. It was dope. I love that car.
That was a nice car. Man.
It was really. It had like 300,000 miles on it.
Yeah, it was a beater, bro. But it was nice. It was smooth.
It was so smooth.
It was so smooth, bro.
But so like after we would get off of work, we would go back to Jeff's place, and we would just like start there. We'd start the night there.
Yeah.
So we would drive around this neighborhood. Ironically, it's where my parents live now. Mm-hmm. But
it was being actively
temporarily
developed.
Yeah, it was my parents are temporarily living there. So we would drive around this neighborhood, and I would get fucked up off of these 4 Locos. Like, I mean, if anybody who's ever drank a 4 Loco, you know. Like, one really does it, but 2, like, you're fucked up.
Yeah, it's just so much alcohol. It's a tall boy, but with like hella alcohol in it.
Yeah, it's 12% alcohol, and we would get the peach. And I
never drank that shit. You did.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It still is rough.
Yeah.
But so Jeff and Diego would always hang out, or not always hang out, but they would sit in the front 2 seats of the Avalon, and I would sit in the back. Because like that was my spot.
That was the chill spot.
It was my spot.
It was so smooth back there.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. Because y'all could just pass the weed back and forth. Yeah. Instead of having to pass it back and all that. Because I didn't smoke at the time. I was like really anti-smoke. But I was like, I don't care. I'll be around it.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm just trying to chill.
So we drive through these neighborhoods were being constructed at this point. So like the roads were developed, the houses were being built, but it was not like quote unquote hot. Like there were no police officers out there. Right. So being stupid, our stupid self. I mean, looking back on it, it was stupid. We shouldn't have rode around with marijuana in our car.
Yeah, and
open containers.
Yeah, no, drinking.
Yeah, so we drive around these neighborhoods. I'd just drive like 15 or 20 miles, super slow. Just chill, like we'd bang some music, just normal, just like teenage.
This is
shit.
back when Lil Yachty and Chance the Rapper had just came out.
Well, okay, Chance had been out for like a year or two, and then Yachty came out, and like this is back whenever like Fetty Wap blew up.
This was like acid rap
type days, yeah. Yeah, so we just drive to the neighborhood, like we'd be smoking. Me and Alex would be smoking, nothing too much, just a little bit,
like a blunt.
Yeah, just like a blunt or like a J or something, like just something small, and then I'd basically, he'd be drinking in the back.
Bro, I was smashing those.
Yeah, bro, you'd be drinking in the back, and then I would just drive us around, and then we'd go get some food, and then you would normally throw for the food, and then. This was whenever
the Waffle House days.
Okay, now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, because whenever you started throwing for food, that was whenever I was supplying,
right,
for you all, and then you were paying me back.
All right, so this is really when we didn't realize it at the time, but this is when Diego was just taking.
Right. So basically, all right. So that's like the first part. Like this is how it started out. Super innocent, just having fun, riding throughout neighborhoods, like nice neighborhoods, like out where I lived at. Just Aaron would drink, me and Alex would smoke a little bit. I'd drop them off, go home, and then pretty much repeat
for
every night for a couple of months, and then most of the nights that we worked, we'd do that.
Yeah.
And so fast forward. So now we'll talk about the first time that you actually smoked. So we went out. So the parks that we normally went to were hot that night, and I know going to parks, that's stupid. We shouldn't have done that.
We went there so many, not to the same park that I smoked for the first time, and the reason that I had smoked the first time to begin with is because Terrence couldn't
get the alcohol. Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck, I don't want to just be sober the whole night.
Right. And so we pulled up to the park. We pulled up to the I'm not gonna say where. We pulled up to the
I don't even remember
the park. It was the regular park, and there were hella people out there probably doing the same thing we were trying to go do. Because we would go out in the park too, and we would just roll up some stuff. Me and Alex would roll up, and then Aaron would just walk around with us. We'd just sit down on the bleachers or something. But anyways, fast forward past the first times that we were talking, like in the car, and then we went to the parks, and then now we're at the point where we got Aaron to smoke, and that's because the normal plug couldn't get him alcohol, and he wanted to get fucked up. So basically, we pulled up to the regular park, and we couldn't go out there because there were other people, and we were like, man, fuck that. So Alex told us where another park was at, and it was out cut, and it was buried deep in a neighborhood that I don't even remember what the name was.
I think it was like the old plug.
What?
The old plug.
What about the old plug?
I think it was like over by like Bryan Station.
It was somewhere out there. We pulled up.
It wasn't that park that you were talking about, but it was like back in his neighborhood park,
I guess.
Or maybe it was somewhere else.
It was super sketch because
it was
like
Outcut Park.
Yeah. Okay. So like we were in residential neighborhood, right? And we pulled off into this court. And normally a court, it's got about 7-8 houses on it, and then it's just a court.
Yeah.
Well, this court right in the middle of it had a bridge that led to a park, and I guess there was a school out there too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, but basically it was just this huge park, and you had to go across this huge bridge that went over this lake or this pond or whatever, and it was super late at night. It was super sketchy because we had never been there before, and me and Alex went out there. We rolled a little bit, and then we were smoking, and then Aaron, you wanted to.
I was like, man, I'm fucking tired of being. I was like, fuck it, I'll try it.
Yeah, and so then you tried it, and then I think you got fucked up that night.
Well, I don't think I got fucked up because like the first time you smoke, you don't really know what high is, and so it's like, I remember being in the backseat and I was just kind of like, I don't know what to expect, and so I really wasn't like high. I was just kind of like curious.
Plus, you didn't really know how to smoke yet.
Yeah, I would cough a lot.
Yeah. So basically, we were just standing out there, and it got super hot because we kept hearing these dogs kept barking
The
at
dogs,
us.
I didn't know if you remembered that. I was about to say, those dogs were loud as fuck.
Yeah, and we thought that the neighbors were gonna complain about the dogs, and the cops were gonna come out there to stop them. Well, thankfully they didn't. And anyways, long story short, we all smoked, and then we talked about if the cops were gonna come out there, how we'd get away.
Those are throwback days.
Yeah, this is super far away. And anyways, we finished up, and then we went. Basically, you walked across the bridge, and then you had to go across a basketball court, and then past the basketball court was like a gazebo.
Yes.
Almost. So we were in the gazebo, and then we were like, man, we're out. And we started walking back to the basketball court, and I think we started running because we were like, man, we gotta get the fuck, because we were probably stoned, and we were like, man, we're paranoid or something.
I don't know.
We got back to the car.
We got back there quick. I don't know if we ran though.
Yeah, we got back there quick though, and I hopped in. We drove back, and then that was the first time you smoked.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
That wasn't the first time I got high.
It was the first time you smoked, but the first time you got high was whenever you were in the back seat of my car.
Whose bowl was that? Was that the old
That
grab
was the
bowl?
grab bowl.
Oh man, I always thought this bowl was black as fuck, but it was green, and
I was actually a green bowl.
Yeah, I always thought it was black because at first it's at nighttime, so I mean, I'm sure that had something to do with it. But,
right.
But it was always black. But that was just because of the ash and like it was dirty and all
the
that.
resin and shit.
And then the first time you cleaned that, I was like, oh shit, it's green.
Yeah. I was like, damn, dude, that's kind of roasting. But
but I didn't know anything at the time, so like I was at the back seat of this car.
It.
And I thought I was about to die because like if anybody's ever smoked, like, you know how like you can kind of choke on smoke where like you can't like necessarily exhale, but like you're like
yeah, you can't breathe and you have to breathe through your nose.
Yeah, you have to breathe through your nose, which I didn't even know that until
that was later.
Way later, like years later. But you got to breathe through your nose if that ever happens. So therefore, if you're in like one of those moments, breathe through your nose.
Yeah, basically, if you're choking like on smoke, like breathe through your nose and you'll be fine. It's gonna hurt, but
yeah, you're still gonna want to breathe through your mouth, but start just like
through your nose and then work your way to your mouth, I guess.
Yeah. But the first time I was in the back of your car, and I was having one of those moments, and that was the very first time that I ever got high, is because I kept coughing after the fact that I couldn't breathe throughout my mouth. I was like, so I had got out of the car thinking that I was about to die or some shit. I was like, I'm gonna be the first person to ever die from weed, because I remember we were talking about that a lot, like, nobody's ever died from weed, you ain't gotta worry about shit, like, we're all good. Yeah. And so I was like, oh shit, I'm about to be the first one. So like I go into like this like peninsula of like grass where there's like a singular tree in the middle, right in front of the old apartment, basically, where him and his dad used to live. Jeff and his dad used to live, and I was about to throw up or some shit, trying to like.
You okay, bro?
Yeah, I came back into the car and I was like, I almost just died.
Yeah.
And you all were like, you all right? You good? Yeah, I remember because he was like, Diego was like, you all right? And then you would look, you good? Yeah. And so like that kind of became like a like a Jeff thing. You good?
You good, bro?
You good, bro?
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
But, like,
alright, bet.
So after I got back in the car, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was like coughing hella, like a lot, and I just got super high.
Super baked. That was your first time.
That was my
really
first
getting
time,
baked. And
ever
that's
getting
like always.
super baked.
I remember, dude, the first time I ever got baked. Like talking about that, dude. I was with Zach, and he had the Gatorade bottle.
This was probably like what,
This
7
was
years ago.
Throwback, like 6 years ago, something like super throwback. I was like 16 or 17, but bro, he had the bottle, and oh my god, like the first time because he tried to get me the Chief, and then I was like, nah, man, I can't. And then I came back the next night, and he was like, you should Chief, and I was like, all right. So then I did. He milked it for me, like he hit it and milked the bud
Right.
into the bottle, and then he just let me hit it.
Right.
And he got me a dangerously fat rib.
Oh,
And
no.
I didn't know that, and then I inhaled it, and then obviously I smoked it.
I bet it was so white and like
Yeah,
smoky.
I didn't know, and then I coughed for a minute, and then it just overwhelmed me. Like I can't describe it. It's like the first time you smoke pot, for me it just overwhelmed me with like this feeling of obviously being high. That was the first time I was high, and then I couldn't stop laughing. Like I was just laughing. It was just the stereotypical first high. Like
Yeah.
I was just laughing and just it's stupid. Like we were watching Friends.
Oh, that's a great show.
Yeah, we were watching Friends, and we were smoking, or he was smoking, and then I hit it like 1 or 2 times, and I was out, man. Like I was done. Like I was in his bed, and then he was on the recliner in his room back at his old crib, and I was so fucking high. I went into the kitchen. I got a bunch of snacks.
The munchies.
I started smashing, and then I got like, I don't even remember. I got through some of them, and dude, I just passed the fuck out. And then I woke up next morning. I was like, oh my god.
I smoked.
And I was like, I felt dirty. I was like, damn, like maybe I should have done that. Like kind of regretful. And then I was like, no, like it was fine. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of weird. I don't know how your first time was, or like how stoned were you? Like was that the most stoned you had ever been?
So how we rate being like how we used to be like stoned. We would rate it off of like 0 to 100%.
Yeah.
And like 100% being like I'm fucked up.
Yeah, I'm gone, bro. Yeah.
So I think the first time I was probably at like 90.
Oh my god.
So I
was through the roof. I was like 120.
I only took one hit and then I was done for the night.
Okay, I took like 2, and they were fat. Cause Zach milked them.
And it wasn't out of a bong either. It was out of a bowl.
It was out of a Gatorade bottle my first time.
Still, I mean it's a like makeshift bong.
I guess. I don't know, man, but that shit was, oh my god. I just can't ever, like, you won't ever get that back. Like you won't ever for me, I won't ever feel like that again.
I feel like cause me and you, we've been sober for quite a long time.
Like 7
off
or
of the
8
weed.
months, man.
Yeah. And you've been longer than I have because I've like here and there smoked like 3 times within like 6 months.
Yeah.
And but like after like I guess like thinking of it now, like being high, it's like you know what high is. Whenever you first smoke and like you get high, you didn't know what high was. And
right.
now it's like now you have something to base it off of.
Yeah.
Like for your first time.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I guess it's kind of like you have something to like, compare it to.
That's true.
So
marijuana high is obviously different than all the other drugs. Like if you go into harder drugs,
yeah,
definitely a little bit different because a lot of the harder drugs basically release endorphins, and they're called something, but it's basically makes you feel pleasure, and basically in your brain it releases them. Okay, they normally are retracted, and if you feel happiness, you get a little bit. But these drugs give like mass amounts. I think it's called dopamine, maybe.
Dopamine is like happiness.
Yeah.
I think serotonin is like sleepiness, like or
Melatonin.
Melatonin. Then maybe it is serotonin. The release like the endorphin.
I guess. Basically, there's receptors in your brain that will release these endorphins and whatever the hell they're called, you know what I mean? Whatever it's called, they get released.
Chemicals. Whatever.
Yes, it's all chemical. But basically, what happens is normally you feel happiness and they release. Well, then they retract, and then you don't feel happy anymore, right? Well, basically, if you do these hardcore drugs like cocaine or something,
You get hooked on it.
they release the endorphins or whatever the hell they're called. I keep saying endorphins, whatever they're called. I don't know. Don't knock.
Whatever the fuck.
Whatever it is, it releases. Well, then it blocks the receptors from being able to retract them back in, so they stay in your brain, which means you feel euphoria for longer, and then eventually those effects wear off and then they retract. Well, then over time, like, you're gonna destroy how much it is, and it's gonna take more to be able to get that same amount because you're destroying your brain with cocaine,
right,
and whatever.
So you keep increasing the amount to eventually you probably overdose.
Because whenever they say marijuana is a gateway drug, I always used to say that's bullshit because I never let it get more than that. But I know people that would smoke weed and then they go to dabs, right?
Yeah.
And then from dabs they go to pills, and then from pills they go to cocaine.
Now you've done the dab, haven't you?
Yes, I've done a dab. Yeah, but I mean, okay, but I'm not gonna ever take it anything beyond THC.
See, for me, I think I might take it a little bit further. Not like saying not like cocaine or some like drug that's like highly addictive. Because like heroin, super addictive. Cocaine, super addictive.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have that shit or it's like a fucking like itch.
Yeah.
But like maybe like DMT or like ayahuasca.
Okay, like that's cool.
Something
that's all
like,
psychedelic shit.
Yeah, it's all psychedelics. But it's like it's something that's not necessarily super addictive, like where you're gonna do it every day. Like weed, you can smoke every day and be
not
alright.
be addicted to it. You know what I mean? Like,
because like we just quit. Like
it was not hard.
You were sick, and I think you had the respiratory flu.
I had that respiratory infection, yeah.
And then I was smoking, and then I was just, and then I went away on a business trip for a week, and then I just quit.
Yeah.
And that was like a week after your respiratory flu. So
yeah,
I mean,
because I couldn't.
Yeah. So I mean, we quit around the same time.
And the problem was, remember, we would chill one day. Though we chilled on the weekends, remember? And we'd smoke on the weekends.
Yeah.
After everything was done, after the week was over, all the work was done, we just get high, like just smoke some pot.
Yeah.
Well, then it became more than the weekend, and it became Monday, and then it became Tuesday too, and then it became Wednesday, and then it got to the point where every single day you would come over to my house and we'd get stoned, and then it just got out of control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the problem.
I think, to me, this is why I think weed is dangerous for me. Because, and this is another reason why I'm kind of scared to start smoking again, is because I felt like when we would do it every day at the old crib, like not the one that you're living at now, but like the Falling Leaves one.
Oh yeah.
Like I'd come over just to smoke, and like that's kind of like how we based our friendship off of, was just smoking.
That was just something to do. It was just get high.
It was a social factor, but like I felt like, I mean, obviously we're friends for more than just weed, but like I felt like I was just coming over just to smoke weed and talk.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was revolving around weed.
Yeah.
And I was not fucking with that. And like looking back on it, like that's like why I'm scared to like go back to it, is because like I feel like I could get super addicted to like the feeling of weed, which is getting addicted to weed. They say it's not addictive, but in my opinion, it can be.
It can be, yeah. You can get addicted to like the ritual of doing it.
Yeah, and just like the feeling of like talking to everybody and like the social factor of it.
Like it's easy to talk. It's easy to, you know, just.
It's super easy to relate to people because you're feeling the same thing of what the other person is feeling.
Right.
And to me, I think that's dangerous because then you get reliant on it.
Right.
And that's what I was doing when we were chilling back then, is like I was relying on it to like hang out with you.
Yeah.
And when in reality, because like whenever we had first, and this is some real shit, whenever we had first hung out after stopped smoking weed, to me it kind of felt awkward almost, because I was like, man, we're not smoking.
Yeah.
Like what are we gonna talk about?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like that for me.
Yeah. Now it doesn't.
No. Now
at first it was, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So and I hated that feeling because I was like, Jeff is super chill.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have to feel like that with him.
Yeah.
So
I feel that too. Yeah. That makes sense. It was kind of the same thing for me too.
it was. That's what I hated about it. And I was getting fat as fuck. I was just eating hella with the munchies.
Yeah, that helped me out because I needed to gain weight.
See, for me, I have a low metabolism, so I gain fat like super easy.
I know, and it's really hard for me to gain any sort of weight.
Yeah,
it takes me a while.
No. But for real, it was kind of awkward between me and you, or at least for me, it was awkward just because it was like a social factor of like how I was relying on weed to come over and smoke and just talk and just like kind of like rant.
We couldn't before,
right? Like and we were doing it before.
We could. It was just different.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how I feel like with people that are young, they kind of rely on weed. And not saying that we're not young, because we're still fucking young, like really young.
You're 20 and I'm 21.
Yeah, I'm about to turn 21 in August. So shout out my birthday.
Yeah, send the boy.
Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up. We've been going on for at least 2 hours. The longest one yet. Hey, shout out Jeff for coming through.
Long one, bro. It was lit.
Yeah.
We just talked about shit we've already pretty much talked about before.
Yeah, we every time we chill, we always reminisce and shit. But it's like...
But that's like...
But we also talk about like what's going on nowadays and shit.
Right, but reminiscing is always fun. Like, we don't like regret...
any of it. I don't regret any of it.
No.
Like, none of it.
No.
And so, I think you, once you, like, learn from... I think once, like, you can look back on it and learn from it, that's when you start growing as a person.
Right, and then it's not regret at that point.
It's I mean, even then it wasn't really regret. I mean, at the time it was kind of just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm just doing this because I can.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking back on it like, damn, those are memories that I could tell, you know, my kids maybe one day. Because that brings up one last topic that not really topic, but one like little rant that I want to do is like, my dad and my brother would always talk about stories about like them when they were like 18, 19, or like even 17. Like stories like whenever they would go out and hang out with friends and get like drunk and shit-faced, and you know, they didn't really get high, but I was like the first one in my family to do that.
Yeah,
but like they would talk about all that shit, and like they were like, oh yeah, those were like the days, those were the memories, and I hadn't had any of those. I was like, man, my life is fucking boring. And so like whenever all that shit happened, I was like, man, I'm making memories.
Yeah. And
now I'm looking back on them, I'm like, damn, those are some great ass times.
Yeah, man, it was.
So
it was lit, man.
Yeah, we had a pretty good.
We still do like have those times. It's just right
yeah. I mean,
now,
even like tonight, like we're just doing more like our thing now.
Well, this was like the first podcast
with us, yeah.
But we'll look back on this and you're like, dude, remember the first time I came on your podcast? Remember that? Like, that'd be dope. But
yeah, a couple years from now.
Always, man. Like, we're so young. Like, we have so much to live for. I mean, we have so much to do.
Even earlier, we were talking about that Snapchat that I took with a young pretty girl.
Pretty
young girl, yeah. Like, we're going to look at that from a couple years and we're going to be like, damn, that's throwback.
I have stuff I shouldn't have Snapchat still. It's kind of bad.
Why? But, I know why.
Yeah. But,
I think anybody else just picked up on that.
No one else will. Unless...
I think they all just picked up on it.
Maybe. But, they know.
They know.
We
don't have to say anything
else. There's
else.
one specific person that I know is going to listen to this. I know will listen to it. That will know what I'm talking about. But I do have stuff saved on Snapchat that are like memories and stuff like that. So like that's kind of like partially why, you know, I keep it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like just. I mean, I can put it to my camera roll, I guess.
But that's hot.
That is some hot shit.
I'd rather have it in the memories.
Yeah, like, no one's gonna go to my Snapchat memories, dog. Like no one's doing that.
Nobody.
But yeah, man.
Man, I didn't even get to talk about one of the things I want to talk about.
We can talk. You can cut whatever you want out. We can keep talking if you want to for like the last point. It's up to you.
I feel like it would be a long ass topic, so
we can save it for another one.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll save it for another one. I'll circle it. I'll circle it, bro.
Okay.
Thanks for coming through, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Friendship is super real.
It is real.
I think we've already known that, but now everybody else knows that.
Yeah, like we're just chilling, man. Like I have you and Zach and like Jenna. Like those are my friends. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I mean, I have acquaintances and I talk to people, but like people that I trust with like private shit. Because if I'm at work, like no one knows shit about me. Like, I don't talk.
They just know
about
you're chill as fuck.
Yeah,
That's it.
and I'm like the man of mystery. Like no one knows like what Jeff's doing. Like everyone's trying to pry on my business. You know what I mean? So like it's a lot, you know, to like for me to let someone else in.
It's hard.
You know what I mean? I just don't trust people. Like I don't want to get burned. You know what I mean?
I mean, we've already been burned. Well, what we were saying already is Diego. Like,
fuck that guy.
I mean, he's
no, we never finished that last story. But long story short, he started using us for our money. Yeah. And was taking advantage of the situation, like wasn't paying me gas money, wasn't paying Aaron back whenever he'd pay for food for him, wasn't paying me back whenever I'd supply some, you know, tree.
He would say he would do shit and not do it. Basically.
Yes, basically. And then he just kept prolonging it until we basically were like, all right, fuck you, and just stopped talking to him.
Yeah. And he would still try to talk to us, but we were just like, nah. So, moral of the story is, don't fuck with fake people. Recognize who's using you and who isn't, and who is real and who isn't. Yeah. And that being said, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Yeah, no homo.
Yeah, no homo. All right, everybody. Have a good night / day, wherever the fuck you are in this world.
Appreciate the listens and stuff. That's dope.
All right, everybody. Deuces.
See ya.